Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday, July 29th, 2026? It is 12 p.m. Eastern, and apparently the bricks and the minifigs is sending out cease and desists, as you just saw. Okay, so according to the BAM map, in a post that was just put up this morning, the bricks and the minifigs is sending out cease and desist to people. Oh, maybe you didn't see. Okay, so if you go to the updates, look, BAM, Bricks and Minifigs, sent the BAM map a cease and desist letter. I don't know about puffing, nothing, none of that. Okay, so BAM, Bricks and Minifigs, sent the BAM map a cease and desist letter. In writing, Bricks and Minifigs asserts, okay, this is according to the BAMmap.com. This is their public update. They put it up this morning. In writing, Bricks and Minifigs asserts that it created and owns the franchise support portal articles, instructional graphics, and operations manual this site has reported on, okay? They have another thing that says confirmed. The U.S. Copyright Office public record shows no registration for any of the works that the letter names. Okay, so there's apparently some type of cease and desist letter. And in writing, BAM claims it owned, Bricks and Minifigs claims that they own and have created certain things that the BAM map has reported on. They're also saying that, you know, if you look at the Copyright Office, the stuff that they say in the letter that they supposedly own or whatever, like, that's not copyrighted. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't make a claim, but that is very important. That is very important context to know. So let's read further. The BAM map has received what appears to be a legal threat. Uh-oh. Now, I know y'all are going to be asking me, did I receive the legal threat? No, but that's because I haven't reported on this. I've been gone kind of, well, not gone, but I've been like not reporting as much on this Bricks and Minifigs the last probably week. A week ago tomorrow, so like 6 days ago, I had like a dental procedure. And it's taken me a lot longer to recover from that than I originally anticipated. I'm fine, but like, you know, I'm like getting tired very early in the day. My mouth actually hurts. Like, I've been favoring that side. So then the other side is like now doing it. Like, it's a whole entire, like, if you mess one tooth up, you can mess your whole thing up. You can mess your whole up. Okay. So I haven't really been on as much, for the past week or whatever. And also there's been a lot going on in the David case. He had this preliminary hearing and I covered that case extensively. So I did kind of take a few days to cover that. So probably one of the reasons I didn't get any cease and desist is because I haven't even reported on this stuff yet that the BAM map is getting, apparently threatened a legal letter over. But I do wonder because I saw last night, y'all might have seen me if you were in the chat. I might have seen, I saw last night, I was watching Echo Base Network, Coach and Nick and Chris Law was on there. Someone else, Relic. So I was watching that. They were reporting on this stuff that the BAM map is now, getting these cease and desists about. The BAM map received what appears to be a legal threat from BAM, quote, okay, this is who it's from, BAM Franchising Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity that owns the copyrighted materials. Oh, okay. So this is like Goofy Cart and or Goofy Cart 1, Goofy Cart 2, Goofy Cart 3, Goofy Cart 4, Goofy Cart 5, Goofy Cart Infinity. Okay, so this is like, okay, the entity that sent, or the sender of the threat is, quote, BAM Franchising Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity that owns the copyrighted materials identified below. So this is supposed to be like a copyright thing. The anonymous sender, so I guess they didn't sign it. They just said BAM Franchising Inc. and or applicable BAM entity. Like, what do you mean and or the applicable BAM entity? It's almost like they don't even know who owns the shit. They're just like, look, whoever owns it, them. We're them. Okay, so the anonymous sender demands the BAM map immediately take down dozens of its own pages and hand over the names of the people who supplied it? Or what? It's not clear if it's even a real legal demand. This threatening message was received from legal.team at bricksandminifigs.com. Okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean. What do you mean? It's not clear if this is even a real legal demand. The sender of the email was legal.team at bricksandminifigs.com. It does not appear to be from a lawyer or a law firm. Right, because bricksandminifigs.com, I mean, I don't know, we could go and Google it, but I'm pretty sure bricksandminifigs.com is not a law firm. Is it Fortune Law? I'm wondering. I'm curious. Legal.team equals Ammon, somebody said. Wham and McNeff at it again. Public websites and information. They are lazy. Tell them to look it up themselves. People are saying howdy, howdy, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Norm said I would ignore that. Who's Joe? Joe sent it. I don't know who Joe is. Morning, morning. Oh, wow. Congratulations. Everybody give a claps, a celebration emoji, whatever in the chat. Amanda celebrating 1,000 days of sobriety. Incredible. Incredible. I love to hear it, Amanda. Fantastic. Congratulations. It's hard work. Okay. Oh, and we got a makeup brush. Thank you for the makeup brush. First super chat of the day. Amanda on her 1,000th day of sobriety. I don't know. It kind of brings like a little tear to my eye or something. That's really cool. Proud of you, Amanda. Okay. So bricks.mini.legal. Whatever. This threatening message was received from legal.team at bricksandminifigs.com. Does not appear to be from a lawyer or a law firm. Corrections and right of reply have been open on this site since it launched. And some corrections or rights to reply have been made. Okay, so corrections have been requested on this site before, and rights of reply have been exercised. No one had ever used the line, I guess this is like the tip line, to demand anything until Bricks and Minifigs and or the applicable BAM entity that owns copyrighted materials below. No one had ever used this form of communication, right? The correction or the right to reply lines. No one had basically been sending a cease and desist, I guess, to bammap.com. What Bricks and Minifigs sent was not a request to correct an article. It was a claim of ownership over the operation's content this site reports on. So this is I think it has to do with this. Let me show y'all a video. We're not going to watch the video, but I'm just going to go to the YouTube page and show y'all. Echo Base Network put a video out the day before yesterday, and here it is right here. Oh, nobody was going to tell me my hair was doing that? Come on. Okay. Black Cat said, just so you know, I looked up the history of the edits of the BAM Reckless Ben Lego controversy Wikipedia page. Okay. BAM tried to remove all the content of the page many times. Okay. Reading some of y'all's stuff. Okay, so here is the video. Oh man, exploiting kids. I tend not to say, oh man, that's crazy. Right, there's stuff coming out about it 10 minutes ago. Shout out to them. I'll have to watch that after the stream, after my live show. I'm going to try to go for a few hours today too, but we're just going to have to see how my, health is feeling and stuff, because my days of pushing through the pain are pretty much long gone unless I really have to. Okay. But I'm okay right now. I'm fine. This is from 3 days ago. So it's like the day before yesterday or 2 days before yesterday. And the video is called Leaked BAM Manual Exposes Bricks and Minifigs Termination Risks. It was a really good video. It has 50,000 views. I invite y'all to go over there and watch it. Okay, they have put out other videos since. 1, 2, 3 videos since then. But this video right here is about a supposedly leaked operations manual. Now, I'm saying supposedly just because, there's always that greater than 0% chance that, well, there's 100% chance I wasn't there. I do not know. I did not independently substantiate or verify this. So when I'm saying things on my channel, as if it is a fact, I want to, limit doing that when I really don't know as if it is a fact. Okay. So, or I really don't know it as a fact. So this, I think, has to do with this. Claim of ownership over the operations content this site reports on. So just because the BAM map reported on the operations manual, they got this demand letter. That's how I'm understanding it. I mean, we'll read further. I did skim this before I came on live, but I didn't stop and read every single word. So it's like, okay, corrections and right. Okay, we already read that. Bricks and Minifigs neglected to respond via the right of reply. So they didn't do the reply form until July 28th. So Tuesday, yesterday. The message does not claim that anything posted on the BAM map is false. Okay. So they didn't write this email saying, oh, you posted some untrue stuff. They're like, no, it's true. Or, basically not disclaiming any of it. The message does not claim that anything posted on the BAM map is false or misrepresentative in any way, simultaneously demanding the material be removed immediately, thereby inexplicably corroborating its authenticity. Okay, so the BAM map is saying, look, I got a cease and desist. It was to take down certain content. But in that cease and desist, the demand letter, sorry, I get distracted. I'm reading y'all's comments instead of finishing my thought. But in that cease and desist, in that demand letter, they basically don't say, oh, and also, some of the stuff you're saying is false. That's not really our operations manual. That's fake. So inadvertently, without actually saying, it's kind of like it's kind of like saying, authenticate this content without authenticating it, right? The BAM map, nothing in the letter says that anything is false about what the BAM map has posted. So at the same time, they're demanding that this material be removed, but they're kind of accidentally verifying that the material is legit and they created it and it's theirs and they own it. Okay, so here's the letter. Whoa. Oh my, okay. The letter in full, BAM's copyright and preservation letter, reproduced verbatim as received on July 28th, 2026. Nothing added, removed, or paraphrased. Notice of copyright infringement, unauthorized publication, and demand to preserve evidence. Okay, so copyright infringement, notice. Now, right off the bat, I think that this is, well, we'll see. Let's see. Hold on. So this is the letter. It says, quote, I am writing on behalf of BAM Franchising, Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity that owns the copyrighted materials identified below. Okay. That's why I made fun of it a while ago. Like, does the person who wrote this letter not even know which entity owns it? I'm writing on behalf of BAM Franchising, Inc. and or. Why didn't you just say the company that owns it? What are you talking about? The website thebammap.com is reproducing and publicly distributing BAM created materials. Reproducing and publicly distributing. Wow. BAM created materials without authorization. Wow. Including a substantially complete Copy of BAM Bricks and Minifigs, Fresh Deck Franchisee Support Portal, individual support and training articles, instructional graphics, screenshots, walkthroughs, and other BAM created content. Okay, this reminds me the other day I was live and somebody gave me a super chat and they were like, oh, go look, there's this like BAM, Bricks and Minifigs made their portal to something open or whatever it was. And I was like, nope. I'm not opening anything that's supposed to be secret on this channel because they're going to try to sue me. And look. That's a good point, Camille. Ammon needs to send Fresh Deck a cease and desist too because they're hosting it too. Good point. If they didn't franchise churn or LLC churn, they wouldn't have that broad ownership problem. Therefore, they're providing full disclosure of how heinous our company is. Well, this doesn't actually say that. It said, okay, so URLs. Oh, look at all these URLs. There's 73. The BAMMap.com, the support portal. Let me just search this off screen. Interesting. They took it down. This page has been taken down per the demand of BAM Franchising Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity that owns the copyrighted materials. This is such a weird... I'm really hung up on that. So these are the links. So they're saying, look, here's some examples of the BAMMap.com reproducing and publicly distributing BAM created materials without authorization, including a substantially complete copy of Bricks and Minifigs Fresh Deck Franchisee Support Portal, individual support and training articles, instructional graphics, screenshots, walkthroughs, and other BAM created content. Now, this is the letter. This is the cease and desist, supposedly verbatim, word for word. Look, nothing added, removed, or paraphrased. This is the preservation letter that the BAMMap.com apparently received. And it looks like he did remove, or they, she, whoever it is, probably they. Yeah. What is this? Okay, so the operations manual is still up, but this is BAMOpsManual.com. Not BAM, the BAMMap.com. So that's why they're saying at the top, we're getting a cease and desist over here for something we, or they, or it, the website is just reporting on. Look. BAM asserts it created and owns the franchisee support portal articles, instructional graphics, and operations manual this site has reported on. And this is because in the letter, the BAMMap.com is reproducing and publicly distributing da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They include as an example these BAM Ops manuals. See how all the ones before that are all the BAMMap.com, the BAMMap.com, the BAMMap.com. Like this email was sent to the BAMMap.com. But then when you go down here, it's like BAMOpsManual.com. So Bricks and Minifigs basically confirming that that operations manual is legitimate. Here's the thing. There's like a few things actually. This is not something that you should do via copyright. There's so many thoughts flying through my mind. Okay, so one of the thoughts flying through my mind is if the BAM map deleted all this stuff, right? Let's see. I'm just randomly choosing this page. So all those have been taken down. So it looks like all the ones, not all. Obviously, I just checked like 3 or 4. I'm just kind of sampling. There's 74 links or whatever, 73. So if these have all been taken down, What is the BAM map supposed to do about BAM ops manual? And who posted that? Okay, anyway, let's finish the letter, or let's continue reading the letter, the actual cease and desist, demand letter, legal threat, whatever. Notice of copyright, writing on behalf, the bammap.com has reproduced this stuff. This is the stuff we take issue with, these links, amongst others. So they're saying that's non-inclusive. There's other ones. There's a lot, 73. Bricks and Minifigs has not authorized the copying, republication, reconstruction, hosting, or public distribution of these works. Has not authorized copying, republication, reconstruction, hosting, or public distribution of these works. You are directed to 3 things. Okay, so this is the demand. These are the 3 things that are being demanded of the bammap.com by possibly Bricks and Minifigs. That was one of the things I was like, you know, there's so many things going through my mind. Trying to like sort through this stuff. And yeah, you can't unring the bell, people are saying. I get so distracted when I look at y'all's comments, but I do want to see what you're saying. Reproducing public amongst others, bands not authorized. Immediately remove. Okay, so this is, let's just read what they want. Bricks and Minifigs wants. Oh, that's, I keep going back there. Bricks and Minifigs could have not sent this, right? I mean, it did come from legal.team at bricksandminifigs.com, according to, you know, what we're reading here. That's not a law firm. I don't know what, like, I don't know if somebody could, like, dupe an email. I don't know, it could be a prank. It could be a troll. I don't know. You know, it's apparently, they said it's like, we don't know. Yeah, it says it's anonymous. So, like, this, okay, so we got this letter from, you know, quote, BAM Franchising Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity that owns the copyrighted materials, but they don't like actually sign it anything. It's just like, okay, that's who I am. But is that a lawyer? Is that a troll? We don't really know. But anyway, so these are the 73 links that this party, this letter sender purporting to be Bricks and Minifigs and all that, they sent these links, like these are some examples, but that's not all of them. We have not authorized any, you know, the things you're doing with it. We don't want the portal, fresh link or whatever. We don't want that to be posted and you should unpost it or whatever. You're directed to do the following. So these are the 3 things that are being demanded by this party purporting to be Bricks and Minifigs, legal.team or whatever. Number 1 demand is immediately remove or disable access to the copied BAM support portal, copied articles, images, screenshots, instructional materials, and any other substantial reproductions of BAM-owned works. Okay, so does this include the operations manual? I mean, they're not like explicitly saying that. The only thing that I see about the operations manual, and the reason I keep coming back to that is this. It apparently is supposedly had been leaked. Leaked BAM manual. Let me just see what it actually, let me read the transcript. And see, it says a current Bricks and Minifigs owner has leaked BAM's confidential operations. Okay, this was a few days ago. I wonder if Echo Base Network got cease and desist. Hold on. I didn't want to pause reading the cease and desist to listen to this, but I think it's important because I want to know about this operationsmanual.com or whatever. Hold on, just getting it all pulled up here.
But here's where things get
A current Bricks and Minifigs owner has leaked BAM's confidential operations manual. And what it does, it reveals how stores put themselves in risk of being taken over by BAM Corporate.
Okay. And then last night, they were talking about it on live with Chris Gorman
Needed. But here's
and
where
Last
things
Relic. Let me see if it has a transcript yet. It's 5 hours long. I shouldn't say that like that. Like, I make 5 hour long, lives all the time, but okay, hold on. I'm trying to find this one specific part from last night. I'm close. Okay. All right, let's watch a few minutes of last night's live. Shout out to all these folks, Coach Nick, Last Relic, Chris Gorman. They were on this live last night.
Yeah.
One thing about it is like when you fire a manager or a manager is fired, corporate needs to be informed immediately because they have, I don't know what corporate does about with that information, if they go after the guy or whatever, have them sign other things, because the managers see the operations manual, or at least they're supposed to. They're supposed to be informed of all this stuff.
Here's how sorry and manipulative.
Wait, we have Colin, the Colin 99, saying you're the source, Colin? Is this breaking news? Dang, I give stuff to BAM Map tip line to get reported on, and then they get a cease and desist right after. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it right now, me. Okay, let's see.
BAM
Sorry,
Corporate
I muted.
is. Okay. This is how sorry BAM Corporate is.
Okay, listen to this.
If a customer walks in and complains about or talks about how expensive the pieces are, the manual tells them to mention to that complaining customer about the price that Lego is a great aid for people who have autism, Asperger's, special needs, Alzheimer's, neural connections, and work on their fine motor skills. That is their comeback. That goes perfectly to me, really, with Amma McNess' comment saying that he doesn't see.
Okay, so there's all kinds of drama, all right, with this operations manual. There was something else they were talking about. There was something else they were talking about. About money and like profiling people when they come in the store. I'm trying to remember like a keyword to search. Okay. Yeah. This. Okay, so they were reading that manual. This is from the live last night.
Today, the manual today even talks about. We got to hit these super chats next, right after this. But the manual today even talks about how workers should first gauge who is the dominant authority with a husband and wife in store.
Oh, fuck off. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You said it, not me. So look, I don't have the no song anymore. I used to have a no song. I'd hit everybody, but it's in development.
Something else I wanted to hit on, two things. One, it's funny that we're talking about.
Okay, so you see, this is like kind of controversial. On the one hand, there's stuff coming out in this operations manual. This supposedly leaked one. Now, Echo-Based Network said that the operations manual was leaked by a current Bricks and Minifigs owner. A current Bricks and Minifigs owner. Wait, they're in here? Hold on, let me go. Hello, Echo-Based Network. Echo Base Network, did you receive a cease and desist for your reporting on the operations manual? Shout out to Echo Base Network. So, it's kind of controversial, this whole operations manual. First of all, that it got leaked at all. Not yet. Didn't get one yet. Good. Hope we keep it that way. This operations manual is kind of controversial because, like, in it, there's like these sales techniques. They're given the sales techniques, and it's Bricks and Minifigs telling the franchisees how to operate their stores, giving them different advice and stuff. And so there's a section in there where it's like, what do you do when there's an objection? Like, somebody comes in, don't want to buy the Legos, and it's like, how do you convince them to buy the Legos, either for themselves or their kids or whatever? And one of the objections, and this is just like such a sales thing, feels so MLM-esque, I'll say. But one of the tips in there is, like, when people are complaining about it being too expensive, explain to them how good Legos are for people with autism, or like Asperger's, or like old people, or dexterity. Like, basically, like, basically become a doctor and prescribe them a Lego prescription, and then maybe they'll buy it. Maybe then you'll make more sales. That's kind of one of the little sales advices in this operations manual. Also, apparently, according to Echo Base Network, and their reading of the operations manual, which I do trust, I'm sure they do have access to it and all that. So in their reading of it, they say also there's another aspect there where, like, the salespeople in the stores are told, like, when a husband and wife or a couple walks in, first try to gauge who is the dominant authority with the husband and the wife. Like, who's the one who has the final say of, like, the money or whatever, right? Like, who's the dominant authority? So, like, on the one hand, y'all, like, kind of like, it's not bad advice. Like, why would you spend all day just like trying to sell Legos to the one who doesn't even get the final say or whatever? Like, just because, some of us choose not to, like, be dominated or whatever, doesn't mean there aren't still those couples out there. So it is like a good sales advice, but in the context of everything else that they're doing, like, sales is kind of scummy. You're kind of manipulating, you're kind of like tricking people sometimes, not always, but if you're trying to overcome an objection, you're basically trying to turn someone's no into a yes. You are basically saying no doesn't mean no. And I don't mean to conflate that with any other type of no doesn't mean no. I'm not trying to say it's the same thing. What I'm saying is, it is inherently, when you're in a section of the sales, section of, like, how do you make sales when someone doesn't want to buy it? You have to change their mind. You have to take their no as if it is something else other than a no. You have to consider their no as a beginning of a negotiation. And so in a purely capitalistic worldview, what's wrong with that? Make the sale. Sales is sales. If the person doesn't want, you're not forcing them, right? But then we're not in a purely capitalistic world. These are people who are also trying to say, that they are upstanding, that they're acting in good faith, that they only just want to, do things for, the family and the betterment of things and all. And so it's kind of like, it looks bad. It looks bad. It looks bad. So that is like, this video has thousands of views, almost 10,000 since last night. And then, that other video that they made had 50,000 views. So they did not get a cease and desist, but yet, according to them in the chat right now, yeah, they trying to act like the good guys. Wouldn't the leather masks he makes also be copyright infringements? Oh, my nose is itchy. I'm having the worst allergies. I don't feel good, really. I'm trying to be positive about it. Okay, let's get back to the breaking news update. Okay, this is the BAMMap.com. They have republished the cease and desist they received. I guess they received it yesterday because it says July 28th. Okay, so these are the things they don't like. This is what they want them to do. Immediately remove. So this is what the BAM map has to do according to the demand. Immediately remove or disable access to the copied BAM support portal, copied articles, images, screenshots, instructional manuals, and any other substantial reproductions of BAM-owned works. So I'm assuming this is, already taken care of, right? Immediately remove or disable access to all the stuff, bammap.com. And we just checked through a bunch of the links. I mean, not even a half really, but there were several random choosings and they appeared all to be gone. So it looks like they did this. They did remove those. I mean, that other one is still up, the operations.com or whatever, but that isn't the bammap.com. Preserve all evidence related to or relating to the acquisition, receipt. Oh, preserve all evidence. Okay. This is what's called a preservation of evidence notice. So far, this letter doesn't appear to just be one thing. It appears to be like they're trying to kind of dress up a bunch of different stuff in one letter, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it or against that. But like, there's a preservation of evidence notice in here saying like, you are now on notice. We could sue you or this could somehow lead to litigation. So you have to preserve all the evidence. I don't know what all those letters mean, what you doing, all those abbreviations or acronyms, or what legal grounds are they sending this cease and desist? Well, it seems like it's like some type of a copyright infringement notice, but it doesn't appear to be like a DMCA takedown. I mean, I haven't seen DMCA mentioned at all. I think they have to also attach like a sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury and stuff like that. I don't have the original email, obviously. I'm just looking at it right here with y'all, but from Bricks and Minifigs legal team, legal.team, Bricks and Minifigs. Notice of copyright infringement and of unauthorized publication and a demand, right? So it's like 2 documents here. Demand to preserve evidence, that's one. And a notice of copyright infringement. It isn't labeled as a DMCA notice under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act or whatever. I don't know if this even is procedurally proper, and also don't know who really actually sent it. So, there's all that. They want the BAM map to remove stuff. Looks like he's pretty much, or they or she has pretty much like removed it. But also number 2, Bricks and Minifigs wants the BAM map to preserve all evidence related to the acquisition, receipt, copying, uploading, publication, and distribution of these materials, including source files, communications, upload records, access logs, account records, and the identities of all people who provided or published the materials. Okay, so this is crazy. Okay, what? This is crazy. Okay. We're just going to zoom in and hone in only on number 2. Preserve all evidence. Okay, so all the evidence, can't delete it, got to preserve it. Relating to the acquisition, to like the coming into possession of, receipt, copying, uploading, publishing, or distributing the materials that are complained of, these copyrighted materials, but also upload records, source files, communications, access logs, account records. That's broad. And then this last part, preserve all evidence related to the identities of all people who provided or published the materials. How on earth would the bammap.com know who published the materials when it's so vague? And, there's so many people online these days who are, anonymous. I think about Reddit. That's a big driver of this kind of Lego heist, Brian Mansell, Chris Law, Lego saga. And so many of those accounts on there are just completely anonymous. You don't know who it is. So how would anybody even know an identity or all these identities? That's weird. And they're like, we demand, look, you are directed to preserve all evidence about the identities of the people who publish. So they got to go out and do research and see who published it. That's weird. Okay. And then number 3, confirm in writing that the identified materials have been removed and preserved. I wouldn't confirm in writing. This notice concerns the unauthorized reproduction and distribution of BAM-owned expression and materials. It is not a demand to suppress legitimate criticism, independently created commentary, or lawful reporting based solely on public records. Well, this is not a demand to suppress legitimate criticism. This is not a demand to suppress independently created commentary, nor are they trying to supposedly suppress lawful reporting based solely on public records. That is weird that they put that in there. The thing is, like, I don't really exactly know how copyright works. Like, I have a vague outline of an idea, but I really don't have a lot of experience, like, in copyright cases or dealing with copyright stuff. Like, not a bunch. So I don't really want to be, I'm kind of like a little bit out of my depth here or whatever it is, but this notice is about the unauthorized. I don't know if this actually even qualifies as a legitimate or appropriate. What's the word I'm looking for? Adequate. I don't know if this counts as an adequate DMCA or an adequate copyright takedown request under the DMCA, but it does look like, at least for number 1, the BAMMap.com appears to have done that already of the demands. Demand number 2, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't really know. It seems like kind of impossible. Like, how are you going to have account records and identities and all this stuff? Some of this stuff, obviously, they would have, but there's also the reporter's privilege that says news sources don't, under the First Amendment, do not have to provide sources of even leaked materials, even if it's from the government, like the NSA. Like, news or reporters don't have to disclose who gave them information, even if it wasn't ever supposed to be public information. That's called the reporter's privilege. Also, it shields you from being held, responsible for defamation if you did take a good faith effort to understand the truth and stuff like that. Semesters, plural, could be taught on that concept alone. So, of course, I'm painting in very broad strokes. There's exceptions. Okay, so then there's like this analysis, what the letter confirms. The letter sent on behalf of BAM Franchising, Inc. and or the applicable BAM entity, quote, end quote, calls these materials BAM created. Its, quote, franchisee support portal, its support and training articles, and its instructional graphics. The subject of this site, the BAMMap.com, is how much control BAM keeps over stores its own contract requires their owners to call independent, right? Okay, so this is important. They're stating their purpose right here. The subject of this whole entire website is, quote, how much control Bricks and Minifigs keeps over its stores, while at the same time requiring the people that it does these contracts with to call those stores independent. Like they call it, and this is kind of one of the main themes of the entire series of videos that Ben has put out so far, is like, go to corporate. That's an independently owned store. So this is an independently owned store. We don't know what to tell you. Go to corporate. You go to corporate. Corporate says, we don't know what to tell you. They're all independently owned and operated. You go back to the independently owned and operated store, they're calling the police on you, and then you try to sue them, they won't accept service. So it's just kind of like, that's part of the I think, fundamental points of the whole series. And so the BAMMap.com is saying, look, me too. I'm trying to show how much control BAM keeps over these so-called independent stores. So they have all this say. They never really relinquish full control to these supposedly independent stores. But at the same time, they require these stores to call, at least in name, these stores independent. A signed assertion by Bricks and Minifigs that it authored and owns the operations content is not a correction of anything published here. Actually, it's a confirmation. In Bricks and Minifigs' own hand, every document Bricks and Minifigs claims in the letter, they have now vouched for as authentic and created by its property. The letter concedes that it is not a demand to suppress legitimate criticism, independently created commentary, or lawful reporting based on public records. That is the line the Copyright Act already draws. It protects use for, as fair use for purposes of criticism, commentary, or news reporting. BAM and the law agree. A company that owns a copyright and wants material removed has a defined specific way that they have to do that. Okay, so like if you own copyright to something and you see it is posted on the internet, there is already like a very specific way. There's a route that you have to go under the law. And this is called the takedown process, or the copyright notice takedown. You know, you hear copyright takedown notice, you hear it called different things, but it's all under this DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Now, the request is supposed to run through the host, and a valid takedown request must carry a signature, okay? It has to be signed. It has to have a statement, and the statement has to be signed under penalty of perjury. They have to also say the sender is authorized and holds a good faith belief that he is, that the use of how it's being used is not permitted by law. So there's two prongs there, right? On the one hand, there's a bunch of requirements. If you want to get something taken down based on copyright grounds, you own the copyright, you're trying to get it taken down from offline. There's a process. There's a few requirements that have to happen. First of all, you have to actually own it. You can't send your dog or your Aunt Mary to do your DMCA takedown. You have to say, I am the owner of the copyright and I don't want that up right there. That's step one, or that's one step or requirement. Also required is an assigned statement to the same. In addition to that, there must be a, quote, good faith belief on the part of the person who's saying, hey, I own that car. So in this case, BAM. There has to be a good faith belief that it really is not allowed what the supposed infringer is doing. Like, they have to think about it. Look, is this fair use? Is this criticism? Is this something they're allowed to do? If you ask all those questions and you realize it's probably fair use, it's probably parody, commentary, whatever, and you still go and move forward, you might be in trouble later. It's required to move forward. Substantial compliance means all of it, not some, right? So, well, actually, no. Substantial compliance does not mean, it literally does mean some, but most. It means most. Now, what I will say is they can get any. They didn't get any. They did not substantially comply with the DMCA. Where is the signature? Where is the statement under penalty of perjury at all? Where is the statement under penalty of perjury that the sender, who even it is, and if they're authorized and hold a good faith belief that the BAM map's use of this work isn't permitted by law, they might have this. They might have this because it is like, actually, no, they made that portal public. So once they make stuff public, then no, they didn't substantially comply. It is not a takedown request to host at all. To the host. That would be like, I guess, whatever it is, Google, I don't know. The letter arrived yesterday, July 28th, through the same open submission line that this site keeps for corrections. So there's like hey, do you have a correction to something that the BAMMap.com said? If you do, send it to this tip line. That's how this takedown demand came through. from a general, quote, Bricks and Minifigs legal team rather than from legal counsel or a law firm. As received, it carries no signature, does not name any individuals, and will not say which company even owns the copyright. Alongside removal, the letter demands the identities. Yeah, this part was crazy to me. The identities of all persons who provided or published the materials. A letter compels no one's identity. Well, here's the thing, too. They want all these people's identities, but they didn't tell their identity. They want all these people's identities, but they didn't even say who they were even writing as. Only a court can really compel you to turn over identities. In a filed case, a copyright case cannot be filed until the Copyright Office registers the work. Registration means depositing a copy of the work with the Copyright Office where completed registration yeah, that's true. You can't sue based on copyright without registering the copyright first. A search at the Copyright Office public record does not show any registration for their Fresh Link portal. In the meantime, what is left is a request that the reader name the people who supplied the material. It will not be answered. Okay, so .com is saying, I'm not giving identities. No, we're not doing that. This site is independent. It is not owned by, operated by, or affiliated with Bricks and Minifigs. It cites and links its sources. Bricks and Minifigs' own filings and materials are among the sources. This letter lists the pages that are not even on this site at a different domain. That must be the operations manual. A demand is addressed to the bandmap.com and it cannot reach the pages of another website. Right. You can't delete someone else's web page. The demand has to go to the person who owns that web page. For more than a month, the record on this site invited correction from BAM. Yeah, they could have emailed at any time to correct something if it was wrong. And from their lawyers. The invitation has gone unanswered. It has now been answered by a claim of ownership over the material and a request for the names of the people who supplied it. The first is reported above. The second will not be answered. The letter is now part of the record it objects to. Based. Wow. A cease and desist. A cease and desist. Let me post the link there. That's crazy, huh? Silencing Reporters LLC. I mean, my mind is kind of spinning. Like, I'm kind of thinking about a few different things. Like, is this another ruse? Is this another trick? Is this another tactic? Like whenever they were going round and round with Ben to try to get him to send them an email just so they could probably take that email address and give it to Medina, Lucas, Doré, and then Medina Doré could then go to the judge and lie and get the search warrant, and all of that happened because they got the email address. And so now I'm like, are they this stupid? And maybe I'm the stupid one. Maybe I just don't get it. Or maybe this is like a play at something. I don't think it holds any water. I don't think it holds any water because they deleted everything now. Everything the band map appears to like have actual control over, that has been deleted. Like that has been taken down. Now, just because the band map doesn't say the identities of who told them what and this and that doesn't mean they did something bad or wrong. And that's going to be really hard to even sue on, because all the bandmap.com would have to say is we deleted everything that was in our power to delete. You can't send a cease and desist to the bandmap.com and get them to delete something that's on surprisewitness.com or, longislandaudit.com or whatever. Like what you got to go to those people or those owners. I think it's so stupid actually that they did this, because they've now come out, like the bandmap.com analysis said, they've now come out and pretty much said, yeah, we own it. That's all our stuff. That's real. So, I mean, that. What's Cookerly? Never heard of that. Mean Panda said, I should send a cease and desist to Bricks and Minifigs to take down Google. Yes, please like the stream. Please like the stream. So this all reminded me of a time in my life when I got my first, cease and desist letter. It's a really scary thing. It is a really scary thing. And so, if we have time in a little while, we might watch a little bit of this. If we have time in a little while, I do want to get to something else first. Bam's guardian threatens to sue me. Yeah, I mean, the freaking universe the snake keeps eating itself out here. But this was totally separate. Look, 4 years ago. Oh my God. Whew. The lives I've lived in 4 years. Bam's guardian, Bam Margera from Jackass, threatens to sue me. Retraction video. And I did it live. I did it on a live stream. I don't care. Yeah, my hair was lighter then. Okay. So now I want to switch gears for a moment to a separate topic, but within Bricks and Minifigs and Lego and all that, and remind you of one of these characters. Because I got some news on him today. All right, here is the web. This is my web. This is not, dang, look at that thing. This is my web. This is not AI. This is also not collaborative. This is just mine, okay? I just made it. Nothing in there should be taken as a fact and all that. Okay, so let's zoom into the Legally Mine LLC part. We do have the Legally Mine cast and crew here, former and current and future or whatever. Legally Mine USA, a Vail Corporate. Now it's called LM Old Co. It was sanctioned for the unlicensed practice of law last year in Ohio, along with its founder, Dan McNeff. Daniel J. McNeff happens to be the father of the Bricks and Minifigs owners. Bricks and Minifigs owners, Ammon and Matt. That's his sons, these two. And as we discovered previously in life, that Legally Mine, on the same exact day that, well, there's also the Legally Mine tax and accounting. Let me see, hold on. Hold on, I'm just taking a look at this. When was this filed? Yeah, okay, this is after. All right. So I'm going to run through the I'm going to run through the Secretary of State's website too to remind y'all of this, or to show my work basically, because so much happens. I do sometimes, misspeak and stuff. So I am going to show y'all where I got this information. So just let me get the, point out first, and then we'll go back and look at the different support for why I think these things. There was a Legally Mine LLC. It was doing business as a bunch of different names over the course of several years. Legally Mine LLC was involved, was the subject of a pretty intense legal dispute between Dan McNeff, who started Legally Mine LLC, and his two sons, who now own Bricks and Minifigs, or BAM Franchising Inc. Now, we've learned that over the course of the acquisition of Bricks and Minifigs, Legally Mine had some ownership interest in this Bricks and Minifigs. We've also learned from various public sources that Daniel J. McNeff, the father of Ammon and Matt McNeff, was the CEO of Legally Mine for some time. Excuse me. Was the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs for some time. So Dan McNeff, the dad, he was CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, the Lego company, for some time. Looked like a few years. Then there was a falling out, supposedly. This happened in like 2020, maybe 2021. This falling out between the dad and the two sons. There's this lawsuit. There's a few lawsuits. They go to mediation arbitration. There's rounds and rounds of that. We've covered that on this channel. In the process of settling all those legal disputes, it appears publicly, from what we can tell, as though Legally Mine and Bricks and Minifigs separated. They're separate from each other, supposedly. So, Dan McNeff took his baby, Legally Mine, and Ammon and Matt McNeff took their baby, Bricks and Minifigs. They went their separate ways. Now, it does appear like there may be still some type of ongoing dispute about attorney's fees and different things, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. When Ben put out his part 1 video on YouTube, or I don't know when it came out, whatever. The date that it says like right now on YouTube that his video came out on YouTube was May 21st, 2026. May 21st, 2026. That's the date of publication on part 1 of the video. On May 21st, 2026, at 4:49 p.m. Utah time, same day the part 1, Ben's part 1 came out, the name of Legally Mine LLC was changed. It was changed. May 21st, 2026, the name Legally Mine LLC in Utah changed to, quote, LM Old Co. LLC. LM Old Co. LLC. So that's the new name of Legally Mine LLC. Well, guess what? About a week later, on May 29th, exactly 8 days later, to be exact and precise, 8 days later after Legally Mine LLC changed to LM Old Co. LLC, about 8 days later, a brand new Legally Mine LLC pops up in Utah. Okay? So the subject of the next segment we're going to talk about is Mark Comer. His name appears on some documents. So I'm going to bring y'all to the Secretary of State's website. We're going to look at some documents and just make sure everybody understands where we're going here. But I want to remind you right before we do that, Dan McNeff, the owner of Legally Mine LLC, we're back on him for just a moment. He's also the father of Ammon and Matt. Dan McNeff has been in trouble. He's been in trouble professionally twice. Once was all the way back in the 90s. Was fined $15,000. This might have been late 80s, early 90s. And banned from association with any member of the NASD in any capacity. He was sanctioned. The sanctions were based on findings that he failed to respond to NASD requests for information concerning his termination from a member firm. We read all this here, right? But just he couldn't be a broker anymore. He couldn't be a FINRA affiliate, NASD affiliated, any of that. Not only that, we found out very early on in the Legally Mine investigation that this this company, Legally Mine, is not allowed to function in Ohio in any capacity of, they were found, basically to have been engaged in the unlicensed practice of law. Not only that, it appears from my reading of this order, they agreed. Yeah, we did. We unlicensed practice law. We're not going to argue with it. Okay, so Dan McNeff's name is specifically mentioned, and he was specifically required to pay money $5,000, I think. So all the way back in the late 80s, early 90s, and up until last year, Dan McNeff has gotten into some professional situations. Now, that leads us to the CFO of Bricks and Minifigs, or BAM Franchising Inc. He's also an owner of the company, or he was as of, a few years ago, at least in that article we read publicly. He's also an owner of a franchise store location himself in Boise, Idaho. But he's the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of Bricks and Minifigs, or BAM Franchising Inc. And he's been around for like more than 10 years at this company. No, about 10 years at this company. 11. But he also does this Chief Financial Officer for some other stuff. He's been, worked for Cincy before, Boise Bricks and Minifigs. But Reed is in business with this other guy. He's the CFO of this company, like I said, Driven Capital LLC. And Driven Capital in 2021 got in trouble with the Idaho Secretary of State, sanctioned 2021, $5,000 in penalties, $250,000 rescission. Now, the name there is Scott Payron, not Reed Brimhall, but he's the CFO. Still, right now, boom. And in 2019, he was the CFO. In 2021, he was the CFO. In 2025, he was the CFO. So he's been the CFO since 2019. And then they've gotten sanctioned. So I'm starting to sort of see a little bit of a pattern here. Where it's like everywhere you look, these people are getting a sanction here, a sanction there. This guy, Jay Mitten, the father of asset protection, who was a mentor to Dan McNeff, he also got in trouble for the unlicensed practice of law. Okay? So, we're going to circle back around to Legally Mine LLC. I'm just going to remind y'all, or maybe some of y'all will just be seeing for the first time. What's going on here? Okay. So let's just try Legally Mine first. It's a live investigation. All right. Legally Mine LLC just formed 2 months, exactly 2 months ago. There's also Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. That was just formed the exact same day. Legally Mine LLC expired. Domestic Business Corporation. Let's go there. LMRA Services. Now, this is where I found it to be infuriating. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know if it's on purpose. I really don't know. But look, if you go in through this way, now look, I want you to remember this number. 722-8976-0142. I'm going to put it up here. You'll see why in a moment. Okay, this is the entity number. Why did I put that there? Because look, Legally Mine LLC 722-8976-0142. Now, I pinned it here. We'll get to that. Let's go back. This is when I went to the filing history, nothing showed up. You see what I'm saying? Filing history details, nothing is down here. I want to go through a couple more little, let's see, name history. No records. See that? We're still on 722-8976-0142. Okay, we're going to click through here. Name history, no records. Mergers, no records. Okay. And then when you go to associated DBAs, no records, right? So pretty much any it's like a shell. It's become a shell. Even though it is still, the registered agent still says LMRA Services, which I do believe means Legally Mine Registered Agent Services, it's kind of like doesn't give you that much information. It formed in 2009. Status updated in 2020. So let's go back to the search results. All right, so what did I just click on? I just clicked on this one down here. Now, let's just click, let me think. Yeah, this is what I want to do. So now let's search LM Old Co. Is it all one word? No. LM Old Co. Let's try that. Okay. It does have a different entity number. Ooh, the plot thickens. LM Old Co. LLC. Daniel J. McNeff is the only member, or is a member. Filing history. The filing history goes all the way back to 2012. Actually, earlier. When you go to, see what I mean? Like, this is like, it's hard to explain this, because when you go to the filing history, the certificate of organization here. Oh, I did a download. Let me just see. Organized in 2000. It says, looks like it says 2007 to me. Hold on. Let's go to this one. Okay, this is an amendment from 2010. Legally Mine, LLC, Daniel J. McNeff. Okay, let's see. What is the business entity number? Where is that? File number. 72276-0142. Okay. This is crazy too, y'all. I mean, it would take me like a year to even get through all the stuff I've found here. Like this, for example, I'd seen this before. There's a change in the name. So they changed the name of Legally Mine LLC. I don't even know if I ever even told you all this. In 2010. In July 2010, they changed the name of Legally Mine. They've been changing the name back, forth. They changed the name to Asset Protection Leader LLC. But then obviously they changed it back to Legally Mine. So you see there's these filings that go all the way back to 2012 on LM Old Co. So this is, what led me to believe this is the old Legally Mine LLC. That's not the only thing. There was other things like this, like this. LM Old Co. LLC, when you click on the name details, they changed the name. Legally Mine LLC, Asset Protection Leader LLC, Legally Mine Inc., Legally Mine LLC. It's just changing. What in the hell is going on here? Mergers, conversions, none. And then when you go to associated DBAs, no records. Daniel J. McNeff is the guy. Okay, so is this the same? It does have the same first number, but after the hyphen it's different, or after the dash it's different. This was last renewed on, let's see, what was this? This is what was filed May 21st, 2026, the same day that Reckless Ben's video came out. Legally Mine LLC changes its name to LM Old Co. LLC. Daniel J. McNeff, managing member. Now, I do think he tried to post date it, but we all see when it was filed, Dan. We all see when it was filed. Okay, so just to remind y'all, that was mostly a reminder. So let's go back to this new Legally Mine LLC that exists today. What the hell? Hold on. Assume name. Central Wealth Solutions. Okay, yes, this is what I wanted. All right. Legally Mine Tax and Accounting, LLC, also just formed about a week after Part 1 came out and like the day before or the day of Part 2. Status updated on June 3rd. The filing history here is a certificate of assumed and true name. Name history, no records. Mergers, conversions, no records. Associated DBAs, Centra Wealth Solutions, LLC. Okay, so Legally Mine Tax and Accounting sometimes does business as Centra Wealth Solutions, LLC. That's confusing. Legally Mine Tax and Accounting doing business as Centra Wealth Solutions, LLC. Now, not only that, the owner or an owner of Legally Mine Tax and Accounting is Central Wealth Solutions. So not only are they doing business as Centra Wealth Solutions, but they are also owned in part or perhaps in whole by Centra Wealth Solutions. So what's that? You might be wondering. Good question. It was just formed. In April. April. Same registered agent. They have David Johnston and Mark Comer as managers of this company. Again, Centra Wealth Solutions LLC is doing business as Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. And I want to zoom in on this guy right here, Mark Comer. They changed. This is crazy. I know it's in the weeds for some of y'all, but this is really crazy. April 6th is when they invented this company, basically out of thin air. And then they changed information on the same day that they started the new Legally Mine. Hold on. Do you want to change the registered agent? No. Who do you want to add? Which business position? Okay, Mark Comer. Okay, I'll do this here. I don't want to show any addresses, even though that I believe it was a business address. Mark Comer is a manager. Okay, manager. So what it kind of looks like to me hold on. Okay, no. Hold on, sorry. I thought I found something, but it wasn't. There's like a pastor named Mark Comer, and it's not him. Okay, so Mark Comer, manager, Mark Comer. Okay, so he's a manager. He's changing the name of Legally Mine. Okay, so or he wasn't. He actually is Legally Mine Tax and Accounting's like manager. He kind of like seems to own Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. Let me show you what I mean. I think it'll be easier to understand if I make a graph or a tree or something. Okay. Legally Mine LLC. The name of it now is LM Oldco LLC. You follow? It was originally called Legally Mine LLC. It was renamed the same day as Ben's Part 1 Lego video. And then basically as Part 2 came out, they started new Legally Mine LLC. The owner of the new Legally Mine LLC is a company called Centra Wealth Solutions, LLC. Centra Wealth Solutions is the DBA, and who's the manager there? This guy, Mark Comer. So when you zoom out, what it kind of looks like is Dan taking his name off Legally Mine LLC, keeping his name on LM Old Co. LLC, so it looks like Dan's out of the picture. Then Mark Comer comes along and through Centra Wealth Solutions basically takes over this Legally Mine tax and accounting aspect, as well as Legally Mine, the new Legally Mine LLC. Looks like it's got that same connection here, okay? So all of that to say, okay, is this another situation like what I think they were trying to do with Reed Brimhall, where they're going to maybe try to move Ammon and Matt and put Reed or his son Adam Brimhall in the seat. And I was pitching a fit saying, no, why would you do that? Those people are just as bad. They've been around just as long, if not longer, actually. And it looks like that's what's going on here as well. To me, in my opinion, Dan is still the managing member of LM Old Co. LLC. All right. Change the name and all that. Now there's Legally Mine LLC, DBA Centra Wealth Solutions, Legally Mine Tax and Accounting, DBA Centra Wealth Solutions. You go to Centra Wealth Solutions, you see who's really behind that. It's two people, some Johnston guy, but him, Mark Comer. And so you start looking up, who he's the guy behind it. So it's like basically Mark Comer equals sign Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. But how does that relate? This is my question, the research question. How does that relate to Dan McNeff? And that's the question. So I found a link here. Oh, and the other question is, if Mark Comer is putting himself now in the position of like he's the Legally Mine LLC DBA manager of the DBA company, is he better? Should we be happy? Should we be relieved? Or is he more of the same as Dan? Let me pull this up. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the same Mark Comer right here. This is an article from 10 years ago. Synergy Worldwide achieves triple presidential executive. In one of the most successful rank advancement months in the company's history, Synergy Worldwide awarded top leader Mark Comer a Synergy pioneer with one of the first ever triple presidential executive titles. This new title signifies Synergy's continuing growth around the world and has raised the bar for distributors. What is this even saying? He has started and contributed to more than 50 businesses in his lifetime. He maintains that his most rewarding enterprise is with Synergy Worldwide. He began as a distributor, this sounds MLM to me, in 2002, after founder Dan Higginson introduced him to the budding company. This was Mark's first and last network marketing company. Yep, MLM. Since their conversation, Synergy has grown exponentially. That's how MLMs do. The summer of 2008, Mark became the first double presidential executive. March 2016 became first ever triple presidential. Prior to joining, he founded several companies, multiple industries, became a millionaire in 5 different business sectors. What does that even mean? He became a millionaire in 5 different business sectors. He has been involved in the creation of multiple entrepreneurial initiatives and venture capitalized startups located on every continent. He has ridden motorcycles, surfed, played in a rock band on nearly every continent. He is a best-selling author, philanthropist, business strategist, and entrepreneur expert. He's heavily involved in a handful of his own companies, promoting everything from fundraisers for youth groups to sunflower seeds to medical services. He is also the founder of 5 Star Legacy Foundation, which aims to break the cycle of poverty in underprivileged communities through literacy, scholarships, higher education, self-reliance through entrepreneurism. This is just one of the many ways Mark is leaving his legacy. No matter what ventures Mark is involved in, he said he finds a way to make all of them tie back to his MLM network marketing business. Synergy is at the center of his success. Leave a legacy. Oh my God. Okay. So, Mark Comer, right? Well, a little birdie sent me a tip. About Mark Comer. Here's the AI overview, but I also have the document. So just bear with this. This will give an overview, and then we'll go over the document. In 1999, Mark R. Comer and Craig R. Pickering agreed to a $4 million settlement with the Federal Trade Commission over false earnings claims. They were past presidents of the internet shopping company iMall. The FTC stated that iMall made false earnings claims and broke franchise rules while promoting internet-based business opportunities from July 95 to August 98. They agreed to pay a $4 million penalty, with iMall paying $750,000 and Comer and Pickering splitting the remaining $3.25 million. Comer was also banned for life from selling internet or pay-per-call business ventures, barred for 10 years from selling franchises, and forced to post a $500,000 bond for other business sales. This is the guy that's now in charge of Legally Mine Tax and Accounting, as far as what I can tell. Internet mall promoters settle FTC. These are the types of people that are associated with the businesses and that apparently Dan McNeff is associated. I mean, everywhere you look, every rock you turn over, it's a little fraud worm crawling under there. Internet commerce site iMall and two former principals, that's like an owner, have agreed to pay $4 million to settle Federal Trade Commission charges that they made false earning claims for internet-based businesses they promoted and that they violated the franchise rule. Craig Pickering and Mark Comer, two past presidents of iMall, also will be barred for life from selling any internet or pay-per-call business opportunity, barred for 10 years from selling franchises. They have to post a $500,000 bond before selling certain types of business opportunities, and barred from violating the franchise rule. iMall would be permanently barred from violations of the franchise rule and from misrepresenting material facts about any business opportunity it promotes. A deceptive claim is a deceptive claim, whether it's on the internet or in your local newspaper, said Jody Bernstein, director of FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. This case sends two important messages. Number one, marketers, back up your earnings claims. So this is like, oh my God. Why does everything kind of always just remind me to the franchises at the Brick and the Minifigs? This guy got in trouble for pretty much, according to these claims, lying about how much the potential salespeople could make. Right? Remember we looked over at this article. I guess I clicked off of it. Hold on. This article, 2016, right? He's like, oh, I'm doing so great with Synergy. I love Synergy. Synergy is the greatest. Woohoo. Look what year it was founded. 1999. Now, it was founded by Dan Higginson. But the same year of 1999, Mark Comer got in some trouble for making false claims about earnings. Consumers, don't buy a pig in a poke, whatever that means. Check, Medina Dore comes to mind. Check out business opportunities to make sure they're everything they claim to be. And it's like, oh, God. Now, I'm not saying Mark Comer has something to do with Bricks and Minifigs. Actually, there's really no indication that he does. But this is just the group, right? Like, this guy now all of a sudden is in the paperwork for the Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. And he's been in trouble for basically misrepresenting a business opportunity. And, well, isn't that kind of what some current and former franchisees have been saying BAM does? They misrepresent the business opportunity just to enrich themselves. Between July 1995 and August 1998, iMall marketed 2 internet-related business opportunity programs. They used direct mail, radio ads, television infomercials, a promotional cassette, and telemarketing calls designed to induce investors to attend free seminars. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. We're not doing seminars. Summits. Where they would hear about the business opportunities. This is like that. Remember the RICO we read, Shield? Oh my God. The iMall Opportunity Program offered investors the opportunity to become consultants and make money selling. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember us talking about the RICO. Vail Corporate RICO. They would be lured over there to these summits, be given the opportunity to become real estate investors, and it was all a big scam according to the lawsuit. The Internet Yellow Pages program offered investors the opportunity to make money selling advertising space on the Internet Yellow Pages website contained within the iMall site. Typically, the seminar presentations claimed that for $3,000 and as little as 5 to 10 hours investment a week, iMall consultants could make between $2,000 and $20,000 a month. Potential investors were told that for $2,000 investment and a 5 to 10 hour commitment a month, they could earn between $2,000 and $5,000 a month. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the earnings claims were false and misleading, and they violated federal laws. Most investors did not earn nearly what the seminar leaders claimed they would. This is back in the 90s, 95 to 98. In addition, the business opportunities qualified as franchises. The FTC's franchise rule requires a franchisor to provide prospective franchisees with complete and accurate basic disclosure documents containing 20 categories of information. Jesus, this is crazy. At least 10 business days prior to the execution of a purchase agreement or the payment of money, the rule requires a franchisor to have a reasonable basis for any earnings representations and to disclose the material bases and assumptions upon which the representations are made. Settlement of these charges will permanently bar Comer from advertising, marketing, promoting, offering for sale, selling any internet-related business venture or business opportunity or pay-per-call business. In addition, they would be required to obtain performance bonds in the amount of $500,000 before selling any business opportunity. The settlement would also bar them for 10 years from selling franchises. They would be barred from future violations of the franchise rule. And they can't misrepresent anything else, which you're not supposed to be able to do in the first place. iMall and its agents and employees would be barred from violations of the rule from misrepresenting material facts about income, profits, sales. So does this sound like the guy that needs to be taken over Legally Mine tax and accounting to you, considering what we know Legally Mine, does for its living and all that? So I got the order. A little birdie sent me the order, and we're going to read it for this Mark Comer. Okay. This was FOIA'd and apparently cost $75 to get. So here's the order. Stipulated final judgment and order for permanent injunction. Federal Trade Commission versus iMall, Craig Pickering, and Mark R. Comer. The Federal Trade Commission has commenced this action by filing a complaint. The commission and the defendants have agreed to the court's entry of this stipulated final judgment. So this is kind of like a settlement. They stipulated to some things to resolve all matters in dispute. This is an action by the Federal Trade Commission. The complaint seeks permanent injunctive relief and equitable monetary relief against the defendants for alleged deceptive acts and practices in connection with the sale of business ventures, okay? Deceptive acts and practices. Whew. The complaint states a claim upon which relief may be granted. The commission has the authority to bring the claim. The activities of the defendants are affecting commerce. Franchise means this, they define the terms. It is therefore ordered that the defendant, Pickering, I don't want Pickering, I want Comer. It is further ordered that Comer is restrained and enjoined from engaging, participating in, assisting in any matter or in any capacity whatsoever, whether directly or indirectly, in concert with others or through any intermediary, any business entity or device, in the advertising, marketing, promoting, offering for sale, or selling of any internet-related business venture or business opportunity in any manner. He's also prohibited from engaging, participating, assisting in any manner, in any capacity, whether indirectly, directly, in concert with others, through any intermediary, business entity, marketing, advertising, promoting, offering for sale, anything relating to a pay-per-call service, telephone, build, purchase, or service that provides audio information or audio entertainment service, whether the action of placing a call, receiving a call, or comparable action of caller results in the charge to a customer. Wow. No advertising, marketing, promoting, offering for sale, or selling any franchise. So this is what piqued my interest here, that the guy who's involved right here in the, let me do it this way. I'm going to go Mark Comer. Wow, he has a lot of companies in his, let me show y'all. Five-Star Legacy, American Preparedness, American Specialties, Adina, Answer Now Inc. B Solar, CNG, Highlight, iHeart Health, Eminent Savings. Where's the Legally Mine girl? Let me see. Hold on. Central Wealth Solutions. Okay. So let me just redact this so I don't get my stream shut down. Okay. So not only is Mark Comer's name on the Legally Mine Tax and Accounting, his name is also on Legally Mine LLC that was just started. Okay, so this one was just started the day before Part 2 came out, about a week after Legally Mine LLC got shut down. Or excuse me, it didn't get shut down. It got name changed. And then now we have Mark Comer, the manager of Legally Mine LLC. And so that's why I was like, look, who is Mark Comer? Okay, and why is he all of a sudden taking over this company? And then, little by little, I start finding stuff out about him. It's like, okay, well, he's involved in network marketing. There's a guy named Mark Comer who was fined and stipulated to pay millions of dollars. He couldn't even sell franchises anymore, and now he's the new guy in charge of Legally Mine LLC? What? Whoa. Huh? What's going freaking on here? What's actually going on here? I'm just so confused. I'm looking for mergers and conversions. There's like a brand new company. They just started it. Then you got to look into Central Wealth Solutions. What the hell is that? You see what I'm saying here? Like, This is him. Legally Mine LLC changed its name to LM Old Co. Owner of Legally Mine is Centra Wealth Solutions, or DBA Centra Wealth Solutions. What is Centra Wealth Solutions? It's in Utah. It has this guy, Mark Comer, and this other Johnston guy, David Johnston. And I'm still just like, what is actually going on here? This guy's been in trouble. Considering the rebirthing of companies, someone needs to get an injunction preventing any new company registrations to preserve the status quo and prevent obfuscation of entities and assets by the McNutt. Marin said, on top of that, Mark Comer is paying himself and BYU through his nonprofits. Let me get to some of these. Thank you to Fat Dandelions for the jewels. Thank you to I Am Omega Boss for the 1,000 jewels. Thank you to M. Marie for the 10 jewels. Thank you to Mutt Mobile Rescue for the jewels. Thank you to Zan for the 550 jewels. Thank you to M. Marie for the jewels and the 440 jewels. And thank you to Kel on Earth for the jewels. And thank you also to Fat Dandelion and Sarah S. and Kel on Earth again. Thank you to M. Marie for the 200. Thank you, Carinsa. Thank you, M. Marie, for the jewels. We got sparkles and Sundays and jewels. Oh, my. Thank you to You Love Alda, Gabe Ona for the 1,000 jewels. Thank you to MJ for the jewels. Thank you to Sarah for the jewels. Shout out to Zan for the $4.99. Bam is getting desperate because the truth is out. Do you think Ammon and Josh could do prison time? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you, Mutt Mobile Rescue and M. Marie for the jewels and Sewed Freak. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank the Real Bone Factory. Thank you, Stamp of Approved for the $2 super chat. Buck Fam and Mr. Pop Psychology Manipulating Duck Wits. Thank you, M. Marie, for the $1.99. Hey, y'all, new here. Jersey born, live in Indiana. Thank you to Flowers for the 300 jewels. Thank you to Nachala for the 5-pound. Bam definition. Scottish colloquial means below average mentality. Could be. Thanks so much to M. Marie for the jewels. Thank you to Giant Swede for the $2 super chat. You can display info on a web page without hosting. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I don't really know. I'm not like as familiar with like the technical terms and stuff. So thank you for letting me know that. Thank you to Zan for the $4.99 super chat. Ammon still thinks he is the smartest guy in the room, while we're all over here in this room talking about what a delusional dumb beep he is indeed. Thank you to Affable for the 450 jewels. Thank you to Corey for the 10 jewels. Thank you to Salt and Exile for gifting 1 membership. If you got that membership, you better say thank you. Thank you to Crunk for the 500 jewels. Thank you to Gregory for the 30. Thank you to Marty for the 30. Thank you so much to GRB for the 400 and to Abi for the 6 jewel makeup brush. No, I haven't looked into Lon Henderson. No, I'm not. Okay. So what else? Thought that was interesting. Who is Mark Comer and why does his name sound so much like Art McComber? Art McComber, Mark Comer. It's just very, very hard to keep up. It's like the open air clown prison matrix has 5 names. All right. What else? Legally Mine is being apparently run by Mark Comer. I mean, for whatever that's worth. Let me see. Let's go to legallymine.com. Did they take down their Meet the Team page? No, absolutely not. Get away. About Us, company overview. I guess they took down their meet the team page. Because remember, they used to have all the teammates up. The business company formation team and the all this, that, and the other team. Let me see. Let's go to May 31st. Yeah. See, this is as of May 31st, 2 months ago, about. It used to say about us, company overview, and then meet the team. See, look, this is the website today, about us, company overview. But if you go over to this one, meet the team, you click the meet the team. It had said Dan McNeff right there. Legal team, entity creation team, executive directors and marketing teams, a huge team, speakers. Natalie Lewis, Mike Webb, Jason Porter, John Melton. So it used to have the team on here. It used to be Dan McNeff. And now there's no team at all. Now, for some time, they had just removed Dan and they left up some other people. Now let's see some of the things that this BAM map was actually reporting on this operations manual. That'll be the next section. The operations manual, this was posted yesterday. Section 9 of the Bricks and Minifigs operations manual is titled The Daily Store Operations. And most of it is exactly that. Turn on the lights, unlock the door, keep the hand soap above half full, count at the register, take out the trash. So it doesn't create a stench in the store. This is the most ordinary chapter in the book, but it's also where the franchisor, BAM Franchising Inc., keeps the two things a genuinely independent owner would actually keep for themselves: the store's voice to the public and the store's money. The sections are published in full, reproduced as printed. Okay. Oh, this is that BAM map, BAM op manual. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I just want to see what the gist is here. The store's accounts are not the store's, and losing them means losing the store. An earlier chapter makes every franchisee in every email with a sentence declaring they independently own and operate their store. Makes every franchisee and every email. I don't know what this means. The onboarding chapter has the companies build the store's Facebook. Okay. Oh, this is so, ugh. So according to this operations manual, apparently, it tells you what to do, right? It's telling us, the franchisees, okay, hey, now what to do now that you own a Bricks and a Minifigs store? What are you supposed to be doing? Turn the lights on, take the trash out, normal stuff like that. But then they have instructions about the social media, specifically Facebook, Instagram, and website. And they withhold the ability to post until the company certifies it. Section 9 is what happens for the rest of the store's life. Every store social media account on every platform must invite and maintain a corporate administrator from the franchisor, and failure to do that will be considered a violation of the franchise agreement and may result in the termination of your franchise. Wait. I'm remembering recent posts on certain Bricks and Minifigs accounts that were maybe kind of like critical of Bricks and Minifigs, like BAM Corporate. And then those posts were just poof, removed. I'm wondering if Bricks and Minifigs used their access to the social media accounts to delete posts. If you don't let Bricks and Minifigs keep one foot in your social medias, if you don't let them be able to log into your independently owned and operated store social media accounts, you could be violating the franchise agreement. An owner can lose their entire business that they bought over whether the franchisor, BAM, holds administrator rights on a Facebook page. That is crazy. The control doesn't stop at the access either. BAM reserves the right to delete, remove, hide, or otherwise alter posts, comments, and or other social media activities. It maintains complete control over the Bricks and Minifigs brand and its messaging. And the manual closes the only exit, quote, stores are not allowed to create their own websites. So you have to use the Bricks and Minifigs website, and you have to allow them to have all this access to and control, not just to see what's going on, but they can delete, remove, hide, and alter your post. No, absolutely not. No way. Never. So the store owner every store owner must on every email declare that they are independently owned and operated. But they also have no channel to the public that the franchisor, BAM, doesn't build, that the corporate doesn't build, administer, and forbid. The customer service chapter already gave the company a way to end a franchise over customer complaints. It counts at its sole discretion. Oh, we missed that. This is another in the chapter about turning the lights on. The independence in the sentence they sign. Wow, is the sentence they sign. The control is the child. Okay. One rail for every dollar. The company standing at the end of it. The store map showed okay. This is crazy. One stretch of the routine. Hold on, let me go up here. I'm just kind of skimming through here. One part worth reading is the chapter 2 sections earlier, the bathroom checklist. Tells owners to stock diapers in sizes 1 through 4, have a changing table, feminine products. Hey, shout out for that. And a step stool for the sink. The last one called for in the manual's words because we will have a lot of children in our stores. So they know there's going to be kids in their stores. The customer chapter already established in the company's own words what those children are for. They are the conduit to the parents. Oh my. The store buys its Legos from the parents, right? So, okay. So why are these children here? Well, they're the conduit to the parents that we're going to buy the Legos from. The child, a staffer, is coached to win over, to reach the adult beside them. Section 9 is where the same premise appears in the plumbing. The store is built for children because the manual elsewhere is built to buy from the adults beside them. I want to see the one about... Okay, an earlier chapter. Oh, this is from... Oh, okay, whoa. So they've been reporting on this. Let's go to this one from July 25th. Operations Manual, Section 1 through 3. Let me do the translate. I like the translate. Every brick and minifig owner has to end every email with one sentence. That they independently own and operate their store. Okay, this is important. Every Bricks and Minifigs owner has to include this in every email that they send out. This is an independently owned, operated store. The company wrote that sentence and put it in the manual as a rule. Read the rest of the same chapter to find out how independent these stores really are. Why the manual and not the sales pitch? A company selling franchises talks two ways. One is a pitch. The other is the manual. Okay, so one is the sales pitch in the front, and one is what you get after you sign up. The pitch is trying to sell you. The manual is not. It's usually trying to control you. So when the two say different things about the same subject, the manual is the one that tells you how the place really works. So that one overrides. This is not just common sense. Okay, the company treats the two the same way. It tells you which one it thinks is the real one. The sales book is filed in public. But the manual is different. They contradict each other. So it's a bait and switch. Its own words say that this is supposedly confidential. It's only for you. It can't be shown to your employees. You can't share it at all. You'll be breaking the contract, and breaking any rule in it breaks your franchise agreement and you lose your business. Nobody guards marketing like that. Well, some people do. The sentence you have to sign an account and the account they can read. So you have to sign every single email with, quote, I independently own and operate this store. That same section also gives you your email address and tells you flat out you have no expectation of privacy. And the company is authorized to access and search your emails. Oh my. An independent owner using an address the company handed to you, an inbox the company can read, signing off every single time with a line that the company wrote for you. It kind of reminds me of like the Russ McCamey videos where he like basically like forced people to make a video and say they weren't being forced. Or was that Lucifer Valentine? It was one of those. Keep the complaints upstairs. The manual names only 4 ways that you can contact the company and warns that if you're quiet for too long, it can count as abandonment. Oh, she abandoned the franchise. On the group chat where the owners talk to each other, a new owner can't even talk in the group chat. Once you're open, you still may not use it to discuss the franchise-wide policy. And those posts will be removed. The manual says the quiet part out loud. If you are not forbidden from raising concerns, but you just have to only raise your concerns not in public. Take it to the head office privately, one owner at a time. Whether the owners ever get to talk about the rules to each other in the open is the company's call. The company calls this manual confidential and only lends it out. The same company runs a help desk full of its operating instructions that needs no password. Okay, so let me go to this right here. Let me go back. This is crazy. Okay, so there's this pitch deck they give you out front. This is what they're trying to sell you. Then once they sold it to you, then they give you the real rules, and they disagree with each other. Bricks and Minifigs values the 2 documents in the same way. The disclosure is filed, right? The franchise disclosure statement, we've all seen those publicly, indexed, and that's public. But the manual is not even ever given to a franchisee. Item 11 of that same disclosure describes what the company does with it. Quote, the company will, quote, loan the operating agreement to you. During the term of your agreement, 1 copy. It is lent. They loan it out. It's not transferred. The disclosure calls it confidential, so the manual enforces the point itself. You cannot share it with employees or anyone outside the company. Sharing it is a breach of the confidentiality contract carrying appropriate penalties, and departing from any policy is a breach of the franchise agreement. How the 2 documents are guarded is the company's own assessment. The manual is guarded on paper. Whether confidential material is guarded in practice is a different question, and there's a record of it. They run an online help desk for the franchisees at bamfran.freshdesk.com, and it does not require a login. There are 52 articles. Its 52 articles are the operating instructions the company gives a store owner, including the point of sale system every store is required to buy and which vendors to use. This site captured them in full on July 23rd. Here's the support portal. The company's own store management system, which carries the franchise number, division, floor area, opening dates, and internal record number for each of the stores, is also reachable without a login. So they made a lot of this stuff public. Suing a California franchisee in January 2024, Bricks and Minifigs filed a competitor's marketing email and blacked out the sender. It covered 3 of the 5 fields on the page that identify anyone, precisely the 3 that name the forwarder, and left its own chief executive's address in the clear. The boxes were painted over a picture of the email. The words underneath were never removed, so they remain in the document. The sender was BAM's own chief technology officer. So let me go back. Section 9. Section 9 is what happens when the rest of the store. Okay, earlier chapter, every sentence. Okay, on-brain chapter has the ability. Okay. So that's 4 through 5. The store map. I want to go to that. What's the approved vendor list? Bricks and Minifigs franchisee builds the store to the company's specifications. Buys from only the suppliers that the company designates and gets every branded item from the company itself. The contract they sign also lets the company collect rebates from those designated suppliers and keep 100% of them. The list of approved vendors is not attached to the contract. The clause about money is. I'm trying to find the link to the actual thing. I know I did see it earlier. Okay. This is crazy. They don't even let the store owners have this. Who put this out here? I mean, according to EchoBase Network, it was a current store owner. Shout out to Valhalla Awaits in here. This is a really crazy. Financial controls, customer service, BAM customers. Internal messaging. Section 9, cash register basics, phone etiquette. Yeah, this is a lot of control. Direct connection between posting on social media and traffic volume in the store is nearly impossible to connect. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Most importantly, social media continues to be vital for increasing discoverability. Before making a post, consider how your interaction impacts you, the store, the brand, and all other franchises. Social media posts which are polarizing or sensitive or which have a tendency to get out of hand quickly. Please refer to Section XX, Communication Policy in the Operating Manual for further clarification. Posting on social media should always be with intention. Who are you trying to reach? What is your intended outcome? Would you like your viewers to call and book a party? Come in and take advantage of a sale? Sell their Lego sets to you? Entertain? Make sure your post conveys that purpose. Include a call to action when appropriate. Don't just assume your reader will figure it out. Oh man, every Bricks and Minifigs related social media account across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, must invite and maintain a corporate administrator from the franchisor. So they have to be all up in your social media guts. Failure to do this will be considered a violation of your franchise agreement. This is so invasive. The policy ensures any posts that violate BAM policy or Lego rules can be dealt with properly. Or Lego rules. This protects the brand, vendor relationships, and any potential confusion for customers. Please note, it will not be the responsibility of the franchisor or anyone else other than the store owner to monitor and appropriately maintain the social media accounts. But the franchisor, that's corporate, reserves the right to delete, remove, hide, or otherwise alter posts, comments. They can, whoa. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, look, wee woo. If this is to be believed, which I do believe it, every single Bricks and Minifigs Instagram account you see has somebody from corporate who can sign in and delete your comments. And if there isn't, you could lose, the owner of the franchise location could lose their whole business. What in the 360 deal hell? Reserves the right to delete, remove, hide, or otherwise, like they'll go in and change your commas around. Posts, comments, not just what you post, but what your people post up under it. Or other social media activities. Maintains complete control over the brand and its messaging. Whoa. I mean, should I just like read some of this operation manual? I don't want to get a cease and desist. Hold on. I mean, should I read it or y'all already heard it from other people? Daily operations. I want to go to the sales. Okay, we have introduction. This is public, though. This is now public. I mean, this is a public website. BAMOpsManual.com. The BAM difference. Key points of foundation. Specialization in a niche market. Buy, sell, trade. 5 main points of differentiation. Now, later they call it the 4 points. Used sets, retired sets, bulk bricks. Community engagement. System and brand communication. Communication policy. Open communication between corporate and the franchisee is not only vital, it is required! ! Defining how that communication is to occur is just as important. With that in mind, here are the only approved methods to communicate with corporate. Okay, these are the only ways you can communicate with corporate. Okay, they can log into your emails and delete your Instagram post comments if they want to, but you can only reach them in the following 4 ways: email, Slack, phone, or scheduled video conference. Okay. From time to time, official communications will be issued through the various means mentioned above. Any official memoranda or communications will be sent out amongst the stores, and any new standards or policies explained in those communications will then be the new standard. Moving forward, those policies will override any currently existing policies in this manual until this manual is updated and those policies are incorporated herein. Failure to communicate in an appropriate and timely manner with BAM Franchising Inc., especially on matters relating to the performance of your store, may be considered, quote, abandonment of the franchise and may result in termination of your franchise agreement and all. They didn't finish the sentence, I guess. Oh, associated rights. Choosing to ignore communications or failure to adhere to communicated directives may also result in termination of your franchise agreement. So this is interesting to me because when I see choosing to ignore, what I'm reading this as is, okay, here's the operations manual. We reserve the right to change these rules at any given time, at any given moment. And when we do, we're going to send you an email. And then we're going to decide whether or not your timeliness was timely. And if you don't act quickly enough, we're going to call it, quote, choosing to ignore, instead of like maybe you were on vacation, maybe you didn't check the email yet, whatever. And we're going to take your store from you too. We're just going to bust down the door just like we did to Chris Law Gorman, and we're going to just take everything. We're going to kill the bird in your store. I mean, that's how I'm reading it. That's, of course, not what it says, but that's how I'm reading it. Email is a vital communication form. Every Bricks and MINIFIGS franchise unit is assigned a territory unit email address. It's typically the city. You are to use only your assigned store email address for business purposes. You cannot use the email for alternative ventures or personal matters. Only your assigned store email address for business purposes. You know, when I was in grad school for linguistics, I became aware of how extremely important it is where you put the word only in a sentence, right? You are to use only your assigned store email address for business purposes is a completely different sentence than you are to use your assigned store email address only for business purposes or for business purposes only. So I'm not exactly sure what they mean here. It's ambiguous when you take it together with the conjunction at the end there, the dependent clause, and not for alternative ventures. Okay, it seems like they're saying 2 things here to me. I think on the one hand, they're saying don't use your business email address for your personal crap, but also don't do any business on your personal email. It seems like they're saying both. Or maybe they're saying neither. This email address should be the only email address used, in conjunction with official communications in connection with your franchise operations, such as communicating with customers or making vendor orders. Yeah, so that's what they're saying. They're saying, don't be going on BJC live show or whatever, Jane Doe at gmail.com. Don't be Crystal Gorman at gmail.com if you're doing a business deal. You have to do at blah, blah, blah at brickandminifig.com. And if you don't, then we might take your store away. You are to use only your assigned store email address for business purposes and not for alternative ventures or personal matters. When trying to contact corporate for any help, please allow 24 to 48 hours. So they get 48 hours, but you better snap to it or they're going to show up with a U-Haul or 2 or 3. Slack is the preferred communication channel when reaching out to corporate. Usually has faster response than email. Be mindful you have no expectation of privacy in your store business email accounts. We are authorized to access and search the email accounts and their contents, although we do not anticipate doing so, except possibly in extreme circumstances. BAM Franchising Inc. is under no obligation to monitor your email activity. If BAM does access your email, it will be for the benefit of the system. As a forming store, you are only allowed to observe. You will be seen and not heard in the Slack. Please don't comment or give advice unless you receive permission first, until you are actually open for business. Prior to opening your store, you may actively participate on the following channels. Slack communications policies. It's a great tool for real-time communication. It's a great place to get fast feedback. Oh, this is crazy. It is not, look how they put not in all caps. It is not a great tool for discussing franchise-wide policy on public channels, nor is it a social media platform. This is crazy, and I don't even know if this is legal, because they're basically saying y'all are not allowed to talk on Slack about your gripes about company-wide policy. You can only communicate with us through 4 channels, and that includes Slack to straight to corporate only, or email or phone or pre-scheduled video conference. And now I'm starting to see what the BAM map is talking about. They're saying that their whole purpose is to, I don't know if they said purpose or goal or whatever they said over there, is to shine light on how like not actually independent these stores are. They're not independent. They're not independent at all. It seems to me, you know, it's like what they're independent when they are needing to be left holding the bag. They're independent whenever they need to be guarantors. They're independent whenever they need to turn over money to corporate. But they're not independent when it comes to using the Slack however they want to, or talking about things that I believe would be completely reasonable to talk about in there. You know, we are kind of, I'll say I'm biased. Look, Slack can turn into the Wild West of opinions and they don't want to hear it from you. Especially where policy is concerned. We all have opinions and a tendency to think that everyone should think the same as we do. Too often, a discussion has occurred that leaves some feeling a bit uncomfortable, even when the participants say they meant no offense. So we expect all franchisees to abide by the following Slack guidelines. This is crazy. And now I'm starting to see why the current owners of the BAM franchise stores are basically unionizing, because where have they been able to go to express their grievances? Where have they been able to go? I mean, they're being surveilled all the time. They got the BAM people, corporate is basically in their walls. They're in their emails. You have no expectation of privacy. They have to allow corporate in their store at any time to do inspections and stuff. They have to use certain emails. They cannot use their own personal emails. They cannot start their own websites for the store. And so are they really independent at all? And then if they have any problems or any grievances, they are very restricted in the ways that they can approach corporate. Corporate says, I don't even want to hear it from you. And if you don't communicate how we want you to communicate, we're going to take your store. This is extremely unfair and one-sided, fully micromanaged, it seems. It seems. Slack charges you an arm and a leg to use that server without gatekeeping your own info from you. They're better off organizing elsewhere. I don't know. I don't do organizing me. Here's the policies they want you to follow in the Slack. Slack shall not be used as a forum to discuss franchise-wide policy. An example of franchise policy would be the POS system, currently required by policy. So you can't go in the group chat and say, hey, y'all, what you think about that POS system? I've been having some problems with it. Anybody have been having any problems with the POS? I'm trying to run somebody's Apple Card and the Apple Cards ain't working. Anybody have any problem with that? You can't talk about that in there. Shh. Don't talk about that in there. Publicly discussing issues related to, oh, okay, just kidding. All right, I stand corrected. What that example I just gave is wrong. They could discuss issues. All right, so let's start over then. I had the wrong impression here. Slack shall not be used as a forum to discuss franchise-wide policy. An example would be the POS system currently required by policy. Now, they are saying you can publicly discuss issues related to the POS, but there's a parameter here. As long as the discussion is kept away from personal rants, not about the policy, which can be discussed with corporate, right? So y'all can't rant, and no ranting, no complaining in the Slack. Any franchise-directed policy discussions will be removed from the public threads. If you have a franchise-directed policy matter to discuss, you are to use the appropriate communication channels, private store channels, phone, email, text. Well, that wasn't one of the 4 ways that y'all mentioned earlier, but okay, I guess text is one of the ways you can reach out. If corporate decides to open a public discussion on policy, feel free to participate. So we can open a public discussion, but you can't. Again, who's really independent here then? Slack is not a place to air personal grievances. Public channels on Slack are to be used as tools to foster inter-store communications that are kept to topics that will help everyone and that will not end up unionizing y'all. Don't air personal grievances or try to sway opinions. This does not mean we wish to hinder the flow of ideas and discussions, just to direct the flow upward. If you have a matter of policy you want to discuss, have a rant about something, or have a suggestion, please contact us directly. Be nice to each other. Text is more difficult to convey humor and sarcasm. Be careful of your writing styles. Whatever your communication needs are regarding Slack, be sure to have a reason. And when adding to a discussion, make it okay, look, listen. This is what I gotta say it. I do not have a very entrepreneurial mind, but I am very independent. I'm very strong-minded. Like, I'm very I don't want somebody telling me what to do. I don't want somebody telling me I don't want to be bossed around for no reason to. If there's logic behind it, please tell me what to do. The building's on fire and you want to tell me to get the hell out the building, please do. Carry on. Please tell me what to do. But like, if there's no reason behind it and somebody's just telling me what to do, or if I think the reason's stupid or not fair or something, I just can't be bothered. So I'm thinking about the type of person that would start a Bricks and Minifigs, right? Like, the way that this thing is sold to these people, these folks, is like, you're going to be your own independent business owner. You're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to be a business owner. You're going to be independent. You're going to make your own decisions for the store. And then little by little, it's like, no, the hell you can't. You can't make any decisions. Not the POS, not whether you take a consignment, not whether they digging around through your emails, not whether which email address you can use. I mean, really, as you start to look through this business, you really don't have a lot of control at all over this supposedly independently controlled and operated business. Like, what about the lease? They don't even take their name off the lease. At least 2 of the 2 former franchise owners who have come out and spoken publicly, both of them have said that Bricks and Minifigs corporate had some weird entanglements on their lease. So you don't have your lease, you don't have your ability to do the consignments or run the business how you want to. You're handing over so much money to corporate. They can come in your store at any time and, farting in the wrong direction and you end up losing your business. And now they telling you how you could talk to each other in the Slack. This is worse than working at a Darden restaurant. If you know, you know. This shit is so strict. And I'm thinking about the type of person that enters into a franchise, agreement in the first place, the type of person that wants to own a business. If they just wanted to, yeah, arbeitet macht frei. Yeah, Anyway, if you just wanted to work at a Lego store, then you could just go work at a Lego store. If you wanted to be told, when your 15-minute break is going to happen, then you would just go and do that. but it's like almost like a grooming. It's almost like a bait and switch. It's almost like fraudulent. I don't know. I'm just my opinion. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying it is fraud. I'm not saying it is fraudulent, but like it almost feels like this level of control is not what's originally advertised. What's originally advertised is you're going to be an independent owned and operated store. All restrictions, zero support. This is crazy. Whatever your communication needs are, be sure to have a reason. And when adding to a discussion, make it a valuable contribution, even if just offering a positive support or a thumbs up. Whether it's your personal store channel, if you want to get a response, you got to tag somebody. If you'd like to discuss something on the phone, send a request on Slack. I don't have time to be doing all this. I'm going to tell you that. If I'm doing all this, I'm just going to get an hourly job and I'm clocking out at the end of the day. I ain't putting my name on a lease. Vendor communication, definition, policy, and procedure. As we continue growing as a brand, we are finding it necessary to create new policies to help keep our brand relationships as strong as possible. Communication styles can vary greatly from person to person, and unfortunately, what some may consider acceptable communication, others may not, including our vendors. Because we have now received multiple complaints from several of our vendors regarding communications they have deemed inappropriate from several of our stores, we find it prudent to create the following policy to help protect our valuable and important brand relationships. So basically, this is like, let's say they Bricks and Minifigs had like a specific vendor relation with like we'll just say a POS, like a point of sale company or whatever, like a credit card processor. The Bricks and Minifigs store franchisee owners were like calling up, "Hey, this is so and so Brick and Minifigs. What in the it's going on with this?" Okay, so basically, Bricks and Minifigs franchise corporate is like, y'all need to not be messing up our spot with these vendors. Complaint, strike, they get strikes, fouls, girl, I don't want to play baseball at work either. Emergency, okay. Store support and onboarding. Ooh, how do they find and acquire inventory? This is a big question I've had. One of the biggest steps is to find a location and secure a lease. This can be done through the main leasing agency that corporate works with called Morrow Hill. Ooh. While the securing of a lease is important, acquisition of inventory is just as important. You should be spending this time connecting with your local market in person and on social media, hosting buy days, as well as searching around for inventory to acquire. It is important to note that you should keep a record of all the inventory you acquire and how much that inventory was purchased for. This will aid in the importing of your new inventory to make sure it is priced properly as well as has proper margins. After you get your lease signed, you will be connected with product and fulfillment team to get your vendor accounts set up. You need to start the process of getting your permits and start the building process of getting your store in a presentable state. You should also connect with the unit support team, then marketing, and then staffing your store. So what is Morrow Hill? This is the main leasing agency that corporate works with. Let me find out somebody over there is related to somebody over there. Commercial real estate. They're based in Texas. Wait. Y'all. Remember this? McNeef? Ammon and Mac McNeef, founders of Bricks and Minifigs, joining us this episode. This was a week ago. Joining us this episode, Ammon and Mac McNeef, founders and owners of Bricks and Minifigs. They share how their decision to expand through franchising helped transform their company into the world's largest specialty Lego resale brand. Check out the latest episode of On Brand. Slightly off topic, but look who posted it. Morrow Hill CRE. What in the hell? always exclusively represents tenants in their lease negotiations. This is the company that, according to this, this is crazy. This is the company that, according to this, supposed operations manual, this is the main leasing agency corporate works with, Morrow Hill. Connecting to unit support. Your first interaction with the unit support agents will be during the social media setup call. This will be where the unit support team will create your Facebook, they create your Instagram, and they create your website. Once created, they will be up to you to maintain and use. However, if you have issues with them, the support team is there to help. Connection to product and fulfillment team. After you get a lease, you'll be connected with the product and fulfillment team. They'll meet with you and give you info on vendors so you can reach out for inventory, fixtures, and any operational needs. Connection to the marketing team. They will work with you on marketing best practices and create a marketing plan, and they will address marketing approvals, optimization of Google and Apple Maps profiles, and explore potential marketing vendors. Then you have to do this grand opening. At least 3 days before the grand opening, an onboarder will be on site to assist with any outstanding tasks. Their assistance should not mean that you put off tasks until they get there. The store should be in a state ready to soft open before they arrive, but often there are odds and ends they can help with. This onboarding agent will also conduct an on-site grand opening checklist covering aspects like cleanliness, employee training, and overall operational readiness. During the grand opening, you'll be actively managing the store to ensure smooth operations. Meanwhile, the onboarding agent will play a flexible role, handling tasks, crowd control, supporting basic employment functions. A month after the grand opening, your onboarder will arrange a handoff call with the unit support agents. Girl, what is this, the freaking FBI? During this call, your onboarder will recap the past month's performance, gather feedback. This don't sound independent to me. This just sounds like you're a store manager with a lot of liability. Communication standards. Slack is the easiest way to communicate if support is needed. Support's marketing team, they play a passive role. Product and fulfillment team will assist you with the vendors. They will be there to answer questions related to them. Financial controls, financial accounting guidelines, scope, glossary, compliance with regulations. If you're not sure where to start, find a good financial support team that can help you. They will help you get started. Imagine trying to make understanding the role, bookkeeper's role, accounting CPA role, building your financial team. BAM Franchising Inc. mandates the use of a standard chart of accounts and may require employing an authorized bookkeeping service. To access the full downloadable chart of accounts, click here, modifications, saving time and energy. Avoid costly mistakes, keep up with change, make better decisions, grow your business, choose the right team. Look at this. Whether hiring in-house or outsourcing, it's crucial to trust your financial data is in capable hands. As part of our franchise network, you have access to pre-vetted accounting firms. What were they called? Certus. We advise reviewing these options and consulting with them to find the best match. Section recap, hiring a good accounting team, tax compliance, financial planning, budgets, accounting procedures, financial reporting standards, accounts receivable, payable. This is not my wheelhouse, so I'm breezing through here. Customer service. Yeah, let's read this. Let's read customer service. Customer service is a priority! Exclamation point. Even if you've never worked in a job where you were directly working a retail floor, the principles of customer service are relatively universal and apply to any job where interactions with other people occur. That being said, retail customer service requires special attention and care in order for the business to thrive. One of our authorized and suggested retail coaching programs, whiz bangs the Retail Mastery System. Hold on. I was trying to get through a video without a live show without needing to bust out my notebook, but alas, it's just been too many times now. I'm about to have to get a new notebook. I'm almost out of pages. Okay. Morrow Hill Real Estate Leasing. And this one is Whiz Bang. Whiz Bang. Whiz Bangs. What in the hell? The Retail Mastery System. This is an authorized and suggested retail coaching program. What is that, and why is it capitalized? Is my question. Whiz Bangs, the Retail Mastery System, covers good customer service in great detail. The principles they teach are summarized below. Customer service as a competitive advantage, systematic approach to service, defining customer service, the desire to serve, internal and external customer service, build a service culture, pyramid, pyramid, pyramid. Envision customer service as a pyramid. The base is the service philosophy defining the business's overall approach. Customer service philosophy, important of reciprocity, bottom line impact, lifetime value of customer-friendly policies, handling customer problems, staff training, stores customer service role, wow factor, moment of truth, every interaction, customer service, your daily store operations, and the demeanor of your staff should always reflect good customer service policy. Most customers appreciate attentiveness, helpfulness. In our business, there's almost always some sort of project an employee can be working on. Not Zach Giles. He got time to lean, girl. To allow for that, and good customer service always have to have employees work on projects where they can easily help a customer. From past experiences, we have learned that having untrained and unqualified family members work as volunteers is not recommended, especially during grand opening times. Anyone who is representing the store at any time, whether in front or behind the counter, must wear a BAM logo and be trained to provide excellent customer service. Here are a few more key service points. Ensure the store is always staffed. Don't mock and make fun of people with special needs. That's a good rule. Our stores are welcoming and non-judgmental. Do everything possible for everyone to enjoy the store. Okay. Don't do any child labor. Okay, that's good. How does the store work? Buy, sell, trade. Constantly strive. The used sets all complete. No. Do you buy Lego? Yes. We will buy anything Lego brand, but we typically need to see it before we can make you an offer. Feel free to bring it in for us and take a look at. Oh, this is their sheet. So if people call in and have questions or people ask questions, these are your, this is your sales questions. This is your script. Do you buy Legos? Yeah, we buy anything Lego brand, but typically we need to see it before we can make you an offer. Feel free to bring it to us and we'll take a look at it, and then we can give you both the cash price and in-store credit price. Keep in mind the in-store credit will always be more than cash. They don't buy it by the pound. Can I bring this item back? BAM franchising, brand complaint policy and procedure. I don't really care. Girl, look at all the stages they have to go through. Resolving a complaint, stage 1. Okay, all right, that's boring. All right, let's safety and quality control. The store maintenance and cleanliness, hand sanitizing station, bathroom upkeep, cleaning the bulk bricks. ADA compliance, we know that. Animals in store. And they have a policy for it. Okay. Staff training signage. Okay, let's go BAM customers. Who shops in our stores? They should hire me to do their training video. It's $3,333 an hour. While the product lends itself to children, our customer base taps into every demographic. As well, an exciting trend is that though Lego users traditionally have been predominantly male, Lego started to expand its product line in 2012 to better target female consumers. For example, themes such as friends, princess, and elves. There's been a strong increase in the number of girls interested in Lego merchandise, etc., etc. The biggest thing to remember is to ask the customers what they are interested in. You cannot assume anything. Primary user groups of customers at Lego in the world. People who enjoy Legos often fall into one of three major categories. My own creation builders, people who are interested in making their own creations. Fans of pre-made official Legos, people who buy and build display sets that are produced by Lego. And then minifig collectors, people who only collect the minifigs. Kids shop in the store and they want to be treated fairly. Yeah, no shit. They're web savvy, love watching YouTube and going online. I'm going online. Though sometimes misguided, children are generally well informed. As a result of their knowledge, they expect to be treated fairly, whether they are buying or selling, and they'll often point out to their parents what they perceive to be a good deal or a bad deal. These kids are the conduit to their parents. Ew. Getting the kid on your side is vital, and you have to appreciate and respect that they know what they are talking about. So, talk at their level. And do not be condescending, sometimes simply asking kids to explain something to you or help you know what the difference is between Ninjago's Kai from the earlier seasons and Kai from the later seasons will automatically get them excited and trick them into feeling like their knowledge is valued and respected. Recognize that kids are the key to your success with adults. When this has occurred, a triangle of trust. Ew. Between the child, the parent, and you forms, and the parent will more likely let their kid go and work with you on their own. Some don't feel right about putting this in the operations manual to me. Why would you want to be alone with somebody else's kid? And why would you put in the operations manual advice for how to make a parent let their kid be alone with you? That gave me a weird feeling. Like something weird's happening to my neurotransmitters or something. Why are we putting in the operations manual to get alone with somebody's kid? I'm calling the CPS. I'm calling the National Center. I'm calling Grogu. Oh, this is making me feel icky. Let's read that again. Let's read it again. Maybe I read it wrong. These kids are the conduit to the parents. Getting him or her on your side is vital, and you have to appreciate and respect that they do know what they're talking about. So talk at their level and do not be condescending. Sometimes simply asking the kids to explain something to you or help you know what the difference is between Ninjago's Kai from the earlier seasons and Kai from later seasons, that'll automatically get them excited and feel like, right, you're like kind of tricking them into feeling like their knowledge is valued and respected. Recognize the kids are the key to your success with adults. When this has occurred, a triangle of trust is created between you and the child and the parent. And the parent will be more likely, this is a quote, let their kid go and work with you on their own. Okay. Oh, making matters much worse, the very next sentence in bold, kids eagerly spend their own money. Our stores often see youngsters with bags or piggy banks full of change that they've saved for a special shopping trip. Be patient with them and take all their money. And their money, as they often do not know how to pay for things, and they will hand you wads of folded up bills or piles of change. That's kind of cute. But I don't know, just that coming right after the parent will let you walk off alone with the kid or whatever. Eesh. This good advice, be patient with kids if they're trying to pay for something. For example, for a $2 item, a kid will dump $20 of change on the counter, not knowing it is much more than what's actually needed to make the purchase. Take the coins and patiently work with them so they understand what they should actually pay. Be tolerant and help the children and their parents. Help the children and their parents will love you more and will come back. Okay, next section. Kids influence parents. Children often find items in our stores that they have only seen on the internet. They will enthusiastically ask their parents to buy it for them. Stressing that your used sets are often retired or hard to find helps reinforce what they've seen on the internet and will often help the parents make a decision. Right, it might not be here tomorrow when you come back, Mrs. Jones. See, little Timmy's real excited about it. You got to buy it today, could be gone tomorrow. The kids expect and need you to help translate what they want to their parents, right? You know better than their parents what they want. This is some weird PDF stuff. These are some weird PDF notions here. Explain to the parents that you understand their child better than they do. Make sure you include the parent or the adults they are with in your conversations with the children and help them understand that you're an expert and you know what the child is looking for. Make eye contact with both the parents and the kids when communicating. This, too, will expand the triangle of trust. And over time, it'll be a rectangle of trust. It'll lead to increased sales and repeat customers. Sometimes parents or other relatives will come to the store with a wish list from a child and have no idea what he or she is interested in or asking for. In these cases, you are there to help the parents or relative translate the list, which may even contain the approximate cost and overall budget, and help them locate the purchases that the child wants. Kids are emotional buyers. Children are often impulsive about sets or minifigs they see. They will often switch between themes randomly. Is this Ammon McNeff's psychology degree at play here? Is this the Ammon McNeff psychology degree LLC? Thanks so much to Zesty House Mom for the jewels. Thank you to Lil Renzo San Antonio for the jewels. Thank you to Corey for the 30 jewels. Shout out to San Antonio cousins in the chat. Ops manual makes them include sentence that they're independent. Right. Thank you for that $5. GRB. Kids are emotional. Their allegiance and interest is largely monitored by what is currently considered, quote, cool. The kids will ask for one set, and if you don't have it, they may quickly move on to another. All right, now we're moving on to the psychology of a teenager in the Brick and the Minifig Ops Manual, okay? Teens are often trapped. He put trapped in quotes. They're trapped, quote, trapped, between being cool and still enjoying building. This makes them one of the toughest groups to deal with. I don't deal with your teens. As we all likely have experienced, it's tough to be a teenager and still play with what most people perceive to be a children's toy. They want to feel like they belong somewhere, but they may not be sure what group. Make the store a safe, non-judgmental place. And sometimes it isn't until they come into the store and see other teens and adults shopping that they realize they're not alone in their highly stigmatized enjoyment of Lego products. You can proactively make it safe. At the same time, show sincere interest in them by asking questions such as, here's your script. Okay, everybody, here's your Brick and Minifig script for the teenagers. Quote, what do you like building? MOC? Pre-made? Minifigure? How do you build a minifigure? Any pictures of what you have built lately? Yeah, show me your pics on your camera roll, teenager. Ugh, this is so weird. Oh, this is weird. Our business often is equated to Pokemon, Magic, tabletop games, and other similar products, but we want teens to feel like one of us, just like those places do. Ew. Even Lego's popularity has helped maintain the cool factor. Your job is to help them feel safe in the store. Safe in quotes. So just quote safe, not really safe. and make them feel like they're not going to be judged. Those that are still builders are often picky, in particular about the sets, the parts, or the minifigs they buy. Think of them as the connoisseurs. They're often buying more expensive items for the first time with their own money. We have found they do not mind spending as long as they feel they are getting an awesome product. They usually sell their Legos to pay for high-ticket items like music players, video game systems, and cars. When teenagers come to sell the collections, they often are no longer very attached to them, which can make buying them easier. Oh my God. Teenagers are one of the largest groups that sell collections to us. Generally, the collections they bring in are large, complete sets. 3 types of teens who will be parting with their Legos. Kid with dad. Generally, they're all about the money. They want to sell them, and dad will help negotiate. Oh my God, this is crazy. Kid with mom. Moms are more sentimental and connection is strong. Watch for sentimental parents who are with them, as they sometimes make the buying process a little tougher because they are the ones struggling to part with their kids' childhood. Moms may want to stash them away for the grandkids. Get mom to see how the future of Legos in 10 years will be even better and cooler, and that's what the future grandkid is going to want. Right, and the set that you're selling for $200 today is going to be worth $20,000 in those same 10 years. So like, whatever, fine, whatever. If there is a large sentimental roadblock, oh, here we go, roadblocks. We're overcoming roadblocks. This is the sales manual. One suggestion is to ask the parent, usually the mother or grandmother. So they're profiling the genders here. If there's something in the collection they remember giving them for their birthday, etc. If so, pick the piece out and give it back to her. Oh, Lil, give it back. Here, you can keep this. Now, the other type of teen coming in is the teen with the both parent. First thing to look for, which parent is in charge? Who's the most engaged? Who's asking the most questions? Once you know this, you can handle it accordingly. Now, it's not just teens and children. It's also adults in the store. This is one of your other customers. Let's do the psychological profile on the adults coming into the store. These are the parents who are purchasing for children only. Often these parents do not understand Lego. They feel it is too expensive, and they may just not get it. This is like PDF talk, like, oh, your parents just don't get it. You're so grown up and you just get it, and your parents don't get it. I mean, I understand that this is like selling Legos and like sales is sales, but like, bleh. The kids are a conduit to the parents, to the parents' wallet. So this is the parents who are purchasing only for the children. Often these parents don't understand Lego at all. They feel it is expensive and they may not get it. This generally leads to objections when they are considering buying Lego. Okay, so the objections, the roadblocks. We're on more roadblocks. It is important to understand the difference between an objection and a condition. Objections can be overcome and a sale can be made. Conditions like I don't have money are not likely to be overcome. We encourage you to run toward objection. For example, if the objection is this is expensive, then in response, you should offer opportunities to purchase products in different ways. Complete sets, minifigs separate from a set, etc. Handling objections can also be accomplished by explaining the many benefits. Turn a negative into a positive and explain that minifigs pricing is relative to the sets they come from. Often they're actually saving money by only getting the minifig rather than buying the whole set. No shit. Oh, this is expensive, Mr. Johnson? Well, instead of buying your kid the whole thing they can put together, did you know it would be cheaper if you just bought this thing? Like, oh, girl, explain to the parents that the minifigs alone cost less than the minifig with the set. Okay. Legos are great for the mind and creativity. Most sets cost less than a video game. The buy-sell trade strategy helps them save money compared to buying from a big box retailer. Ooh. Internal note. Mentioning this serves as, quote, trade bait. While selling new sets is not our core business, it is a good way to get people in the store. Trade bait? They put this in the operations manual? Remind the parents that our unique buy-sell trade strategy saves them money compared to buying from the big box retailers. Internal note, mentioning this serves as trade bait. TRADE-bait. While selling new sets is not our core business, it is a good way to get people in the store. So hold on, I gotta look up what is trade bait. Trade bait LLC. Trade bait sales tactic. Oh my gosh. Trade bait is the same as a bait and switch. It is a sales tactic that is a dishonest method where a seller uses a great low price deal to attract buyers, but never actually intends to sell that item. They claim the item is gone or bad and pressure you to buy a costlier one. This is from a .gov website. This is the internal note. I'm reading y'all's comments. Code of Federal Regulations. Guides against bait advertising. Bait advertising defined. My eyes are watering. This is crazy. Y'all better download this video. They're going to come. Section 238.0, bait advertising defined. Bait advertising is an alluring but insincere offer to sell a product or service which the advertiser, in truth, does not actually intend or want to sell. Its purpose is to switch consumers from buying that advertised merchandise in order to sell them something else, usually at a higher price or on a basis more advantageous to the advertiser. The primary aim of a bait advertisement is to obtain leads as to persons interested in buying merchandise of that type so advertised. For the purpose of this part, advertising includes any form of public notice, however disseminated or utilized. Bait advertisement. No advertisement containing an offer to sell a product should be published when the offer is not a bona fide effort to sell the advertised product. No statement or illustration should be used in any advertisement which creates a false impression of the grade, quality, make, value, currency, model, size, usability, or origin. Even though the true facts are subsequently made known to the buyer, the law is violated if the first contact was secured by deception. Okay, so now that I'm reading this definition, I really actually don't think that exactly qualifies to like what Ammon or whoever they are over there, the person writing that thing. I don't think this would actually qualify or count because on advertisement, it's a conversation in the store. The person's already in the store, but they call it trade freaking bait. Remind the parents that this is a unique buy-sell trade strategy that helps save them money compared to buying from the big box retailers. Well, it is kind of like telling them, it is kind of an advertisement because you're telling them, but it's not public. It's not like an advertisement. It's a sales tactic in the store. What I think is the most damning is that they put this in here. Trade bait just don't look good. Mentioning this serves as trade bait. While selling new sets is not our core business, it is a good way to get people in the store. They can take their used sets they have and trade them in for a new set or a portion of a new set. Not a consignment. Never forget, trades allow people to afford larger sets while reducing their out-of-pocket expense. They're on... Let's read this a little bit more. The refusal to show demonstrators sell the product offered. Disparagement of the advertised product. credit claims, availability, service repairs in connection with it. The failure. I see. So if you get them in the store thinking they're going to come in there to buy new sets, but when they get in there, you discourage them from buying the new sets, that would violate this regulation. No practice should be pursued by an advertiser in the event of a sale of the advertised product of unselling with the intent and purpose of selling other merchandise instead. Among acts or practices which will be considered in determining if the initial sale was in good faith, I don't think that applies here. So, trade bait. No, bait and switch is a form of fraud in retail sales, but it's also employed in other. Okay, I'm going to go trade bait. I think this is used in sports. Yeah, look. Trade bait refers to players or assets of a sports team that are made available in trade discussions to acquire other players, prospects, or draft picks. In professional sports like the NHL, prominent trade boards often highlight marquee names rumored in the movement, like Dylan Larkin. Okay, so players or assets are actively shopped or openly discussed as available to other teams. The purpose is to clear the salary cap space, acquire a future draft, or fill, or, in this case, they say in it, okay, general manager's way of players' contract term performance. Trade bait. So okay, I see how the trade bait actually does. Trade bait actually is a better description of what this is than bait and switch. Because it's like, oh, you're just mentioning this other stuff that actually really doesn't have anything to do with why you're in the store right now. But it's just kind of like psychological manipulation. Remind the parents their Legos are on top 10 lists for special needs children. Yes, especially. Let's please take advantage of the parents that have the special needs children for sure. Yes, please. Let's do that. Legos are great for children with autism, Asperger's, and other special needs because of the neural connections that are created. If a child has focus issues, Lego can help teach him or her to build and follow a sequence of instructions. They could also assist other individuals with Alzheimer's. Doctors prescribe working with Legos. Look, they don't even use the branding spelling correctly. They say Legos. To help with fine motor skills. Okay, so now they're doctors and they're doing prescriptions. Okay, so they moved on from the type of customer of parents buying for their kids. Now it's adults buying for themselves. Or possibly children. This category is known as adult fans of Lego, AFOLS. They are really into Lego. And whether they may be looking to relive their childhood, they have their own reasons for loving Legos. Money is often less of an issue. Different from the kids, adults will usually stay within a given theme or set of themes. Oh my God, what in the psychological analysis hell? They are great repeat customers within those interests. They like to build cities, collect Star Wars, etc. But when they change, everything they had prior goes, and then they will want to trade or sell or move on to another theme. Adult fans of Lego are one of the easiest groups to sell to. Great. A subset of adult fans of Legos are these groups around the country known as LUGs, LUGs, Lego user groups. These groups are often both extreme builders and resellers. If you have one in your area and want to work with them for shows or displays, be sure to know its expectations. Now, we're also going to be selling to seniors, y'all. They are fantastic shoppers because they're in the store for a specific reason, and it's usually they're shopping for somebody else, many times with a list. They will often spend big money on their grandkids, and they trust you to help them. They're going to look to you for help when they have wish lists for others, and they often have no idea what is being asked for. And so they're going to look to you for help when they don't know what's being asked for. Okay, also there's going to be in the store, they're going to be resellers. Yeah, they can be considered competitors. It's good to know who these resellers are. Many times, it can be a good relationship, symbiotic relationship. Resellers will shop for parts and minifigs to complete the partial sets that they sell because completing the sets has a higher value for them. Some will buy sets at your price in the hopes of selling for more in other arenas. Others will look to buy incomplete sets for a good price, and they'll finish them for a profit. Building these positive relationships will help you maximize what the store buys. Sometimes they can be jerks. They'll try to steal your customers or counter offer on trades and buys. Have zero tolerance for this. Kick them out of the store as nicely as you can. This is rare, but it can happen. Now, also, there's going to be collectors in the store. Collectors are going to pay good money for special sets and unique items. They are not afraid to spend the money for difficult to find items. The rarer the sets, the more consistently you have them, these collectors, and the more collectors will be checking in with you. Okay, next section, general sales guidelines and advice. The store is not a museum. We are here to sell products. Customers need to see that sets and products are moving and selling. Have conversations with the customer so they understand what makes our stores special and how we are different from big box stores. Oh, trade bait, trade bait. For example, a customer's quote, "Oh, you sell used sets?" should be answered with, "Yes, we sell used sets. And in fact, most of them are sets we bought from people who have brought them in." It's important to ensure that you communicate the buy, sell, trade aspect of the store whenever possible. Even when you can't make the sale, use it as an opportunity to enlighten and educate the person on all that BAM offers. Engage the customer in all that we do. As an example, let's say someone comes in wanting a new set. You don't have it. You can let them walk out the door, or more ideally, explain to them, this ain't where you buy new shit. This is an opportunity to explain that Bricks and Minifigs, what it is, and plant a seed for a future sale. Remember the 4 main points of differentiation, and don't be afraid to tell customers about them. We encourage stores to work together and sell to each other, ensure everybody has what they need to be successful. Are y'all seeing this? Wait, Chris Gorman. Shout out to you. Thank you so much to Chris Gorman for the $20 super chat. Convince a parent to pay more money for a new set on the promise they can then trade in the build set for something new. If they aren't familiar with depreciation values, I think you have a moral obligation to educate them. I see what you're saying. I think, Chris. Shout out to Chris Gorman in the chat. And thank you for the $20. Convince a parent to pay more money for a new set because look, once your kid builds it, you could come and trade it in. And once you trade it in, you still get money, but you're not telling them that the set's going to depreciate as soon as you open that box. Yeah, you should have a moral obligation there. This is a kind of scummy thing here. Thank you, Rose Investigates. Oh yeah, let's check Pacer real quick. Maybe something's been filed. Nothing has been filed in this case in a very long time. Let me check Pacer. When did that come in? 2:50? So this was 13 minutes ago. Let me see. Oh. Who cares? I'm so sorry. It's like, stop trying to make Gregory C. Belmont happen. Docket text order. On July 7th, Gregory C. Belmont submitted a notice of changed circumstances. He no longer seeks to intervene at this time. So his motion to intervene is denied as moot. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Rose Investigates. Yeah, so, I mean, that doesn't seem like anything too important, I guess. Wah, wah. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. Whew, Lord have mercy. I do want to remind y'all quickly that my merch, limited edition merch, is on pre-order right now. I think it'll probably be open for another week or so. And I do understand that the international cousins are having a hard time with the shipping. We are working on that. That's being worked on. Should be addressed soon. Thanks so much to Abby for the floating heart jewels. Thank you to Julie, praying on all. Thank you to Julie for the $4.99, praying on all people. LLC. Thank you to Fly Chomper Fly for the $2. I think they meant loss leader, which is legal. They said trade bait though. Thank you for the $2. Again, main business is to attract and bait customers who trade. Yeah. I don't think anything, by the way, I just want to be very clear. I think I said this already. I just want to be very clear. I don't think that the practice that is described in this operations manual is actually illegal or against a code. Like if they were doing bait and switch, I don't think what that is actually applies as a bait and switch, but it is still a little surprising to me that they put that internal note. This is a trade bait. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you to The Real Bone Factory for the $2. Bam. Creepy van with Snickers. Thank you to Gregory Hall for the 10 jewels. Thank you to That Came Out Wrong for the $5. Corporate has a lot of control over social media. They're now saying they didn't see the consignment information on Brian's collection. Well, they kind of carve out a thing for themselves, right? They say, we have no obligation to monitor it. We're not guaranteeing you we're going to be monitoring it. But if we do see something we don't like, we're going to take it down. And I think that's what they would probably rely on. I think that's what they would rely on in the future and like say like, oh, well, we didn't see that. We don't look at we have 300 stores. We don't look at every social media account. That's probably what they would say. But I do totally agree with you. And that did cross my mind. That is an argument, right? Like y'all have all this control. Y'all had access to log into all these emails. You had access to log into all this social media stuff. And yet, you didn't know about the consignment? Yeah, right. Thank you to Gracious T for the jewels. Thank you to Michigan Mike for the 400 jewels. Thank you to Patrick. The team page is still there. Go to /team. Are you talking about Legally Mine? Okay. LegallyMine.com/team. Oh, yeah. If you type it in, it will go there. Mike Webb. Mike Webb. Where have I seen that name? So the team page is still up, but you can't get to it from the main. Nadeline. Goofy cart number 4 right there. Eek. Girl. Anyway. Back to this. Did y'all see me freaking out about this? BYU Ad Research Lab? Was the BYU Ad Research... Thank you for the $2, Patrick. Was the BYU Ad Research Lab the one that got together all this information on all these kids and adults and this is more likely to buy this and that? The what? BYU Ad Research Lab in relation to the brick and the minifig? Since 2019? You mean the 1 year after Ammon and Matt got involved and Dan? In 2019, the franchise engaged the Brigham Young University Ad Lab to conduct market research for the brand as a whole. Huh? Their data and analysis can be found here. I guess it's removed. Here's a summary. Findings. Number 1, project objectives and methods. The research involved gathering data through in-depth interviews with BAM stakeholders and large-scale customer survey. Lego's adaptability and innovation, particularly in times of financial crisis, have been key to its enduring success. The focus on creativity and shift toward products that encourage scientific and emotional growth have driven recent sales growth. Number 3, consumer demographics. I was kind of joking. When I was like, did the BYU ad research lab give the Bricks and Minifigs all this psychological data on the customers? The kids will want this, the teens will want this, the adults will want this, the grandmas will want this. BYU provided a detailed analysis of consumer demographics, highlighting different regional characteristics and preferences across the United States. Number 4, customer insights. Interviews revealed that word of mouth is a critical factor in brand awareness. For BAM, regular customers and event attendees are vital to the store's continued patronage. Number 5, market segmentation. The analysis identified various customer segments, such as adult male collectors, Lego and toy-loving kids, gift buying. This is a BYU ad research lab study. Gift buying parents and grandparents, young adults in their dark ages of Lego interest. Young adults in their dark ages of Lego interest? Number 6, quantitative research. Survey results indicated a majority of customers are adults. Wow. Customers are, wow, this is very surprising to me. The majority of the customers are adults, aged 31 to 50, primarily white and often parents. Star Wars is the most favored Lego theme. Oh my God. Spending habits and store visit frequency were noted. Customer buying behaviors. Customers enjoy the physical shopping experience at Bricks and Minifigs and often spend $25 to $50 a visit, mostly purchasing used Legos. Online shopping is preferred for its convenience. Customers prefer to stay connected through email, newsletters, and social media, and they are interested in deals, events, and new products. Action items. Leverage Lego's strength. Oh, wee woo. Somebody tell Lego. The operations manual. Leverage Lego's strength. Use Lego's brand strength and reputation to drive traffic engagement in BAM stores. Focus on target demographics. Prioritize marketing efforts toward families, children, and adult builders while considering the limited interest among older teens. Enhance event marketing. Increase the number and variety of in-store events to attract new customers. Improve advertising and outreach. Strengthen BAM's marketing strategies to enhance brand awareness beyond word-of-mouth referrals. Capitalize on popular in-store areas. Enhance the bulk bin experience and other popular store sections. Maintain focus on customer experience. Ensure that the unique in-store experience, including interaction with knowledgeable staff, is preserved and enhanced. Expand online presence. Develop an online platform for browsing and purchasing, particularly for rare and nostalgic items. Tailor communication strategies. Utilize email and social media for regular updates, events, deals, new products. Adjust pricing strategies. Expand product variety. Offer a wide range of products. Internal communication, shift scheduling, time clock, internal messaging. Phone etiquette. You are in retail and will deal with all types of people, with all types of perspectives, attitudes, and frames of mind. Do not assume they are familiar with the store and what it sells and what it does. They may have never been in the store. That makes handling customers over the phone more of a challenge and requires more thoroughness and communication. This is another opportunity to educate. Everything is an opportunity to educate customers on what the store is about and how we differ, even to the point of directing them to another retailer if necessary for their specific needs. The following is the basic tips you might already know. When answering phones, Bricks and Minifigs, Orem, this is John speaking. How can I help you? It's important to always answer the phone when the store is open. Duh. If you have two people on the floor, there should be an understanding that the other person has to answer the phone. If all employees are busy, there's only one person on the floor. The call should be handled as follows. Oh, operational activities. Managing, processing, and maintaining the inventory. Let's see if there's anything in here about a consignment, girl. Activities for you as the owner manager, as well as your staff. Address incoming sets, bulk, minifigs, etc. Building sets to put out for sale. Building and sorting minifigs to put out for sale. Sorting all the used bulk to put out for sale. And cleaning the bricks. Not all stores clean their bricks before putting it out. Generally, unless the product is in obvious need of cleaning, our recommendation is that you can just put it right on the sales floor. You don't have to clean it. Online activities, checking email once or twice a day, dealing with upset customers, and customer issues are priority. You might often have people email you about doing trades. Be sure to respond to all inquiries. When people email you about doing a trade, it's best practices to let them know you cannot give them quotes unless you see the product in person. If you decide to give them an estimate, be sure to explain that when you see the product in person, that price might change. Always encourage them to bring the product into the store if it is a large collection, or they have another legitimate reason for not being able to bring it in. You will want to ask if you can go to them. And this is exactly what Chris Gorman says that she did with the Brian Mansell sets, to evaluate. If that is not possible, you may need to require a list of what they have. Oh, let me see the list. Let me see the list. And get pictures before you give them an offer. Remember, the offer you give them is for the lot. If you can help it, don't break down the offer for each item. Moving on to social media. A direct connection between posting on social media and traffic volume in the store is nearly impossible to connect. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Social media continues to be vital for increasing discoverability, building brand awareness, and customer relationships. Before making a post, okay, we already read this, right? Yeah, this is crazy. Every Bricks and Minifigs and any other spelling variation related social media account across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, etc., must invite and maintain a corporate administrator from the franchisor. Failure to do this will be considered a violation of your franchise agreement and may result in the termination of your franchise. Facebook continues to be one of the largest used social media platforms and one of the best tools for marketing, promotion, and customer engagement for a low cost. We recommend adding your email, website address, phone number, and store hours to the account. As with most social media platforms, consistency is key. One or more posts a day keeps customers engaged in the algorithm pushing your posts. If this seems overwhelming, focus on posting at minimum 3 or 4 times a week. When coming up with content, remember the 80-20 rule. Constantly asking your followers to come and buy wears on the relationship. Include a variety of posts with the bulk of your content adding to the relationship. Oh my God. This is a rule? Give your followers a chance to get to know you and the staff. Repost amazing mocks or techniques you come across. Include stop motion animation. Educate your followers on aspects of the store or feature you're getting the store ready to open. 20% of your posts find ways to creatively feature a variety of sets, minifigs, and just-in products, events, or promotions. For a list of content ideas, go to the Google Doc, the social media guide. Make sure to monitor your social media accounts daily. The algorithms push content when they see you reply in a timely manner. If you get reviews, thank the customer. If people comment about the store, communicate back. Unless we delete the comment. Engagement is key. Watch for negative comments and manage them in a professional manner, but don't worry about negative reviews. People trust a business more when they have honest feedback. Don't get defensive of your business policies and procedures. Well, okay. It'd be nice if BAM would follow their own damn advice, huh? Don't get defensive of your business policies or procedures, but also don't even talk about the policies in the public Slack. Politely address the issue and try to move the conversation offline, out of view of others. Don't take complaints publicly. Only take them privately and then ignore them. Direct them to call or email. Getting into an argumentative thread does not look good. Be aware of repeat complainers or spammers and consider deleting them. Time-saving tip. Go through the store at the beginning of the week and take numerous pictures. This puts content at your fingertips for the rest of the week. Then they move on to Instagram, carousels, reels, hashtags, 3 to 5 appropriate hashtags per post. Girl, customers will show off their creations by sending a picture. Stories feature is a great way to remain at the top of the thing. Other online forums. Closing. Point of sale is the cash register. Connection to the internet. Time clock. Payroll. Key component of the inventory. Cash register. Inventory system. So I guess none of this has consignment. Goo goo gaga. Goo goo gaga. Thank you to the C Magia for the jewels. Thank you, Wendy, for the $5 super chat. Better lock those weapons up away from the small. Seriously. Do I need to arm my staff? Thank you, blah blah, for the jewels. Thank you, Wendy, for the jewels. Thank you to blah blah for the jewels again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the flowers. To Sarah, twice. 2 jewels, 30 jewels. Thank you, Declan, for the 100 jewels. High five. Oops. Somebody gave 200 and I accidentally put it away. Thank you to the person that did the 200. I accidentally deleted your thing. I can't see it now. Thank you to PJ for the 30 jewels flower. Thank you to IAD Fair for the jewels. Thank you to Gregory for the jewels. Thank you to Kay Wiseman for the jewels. Sunshine. Thank you to Dan Williams for the jewels. Kay Wiseman again. Thanks so much to Ketchup. Any info about taking sets they want from your inventory? Not that I see. Not that I see. I didn't read it all, you know. I read it with y'all. Thank you, AC, for the $5 super chat. See BAM map tracking 3 U-Haul storage of Brian sets, and I need to process that a little more. My brain is having issues with processing that. I do want to talk about it, AC, but I need to kind of look at it more to get my mind around exactly what's the issue. Thank you, Jason. Being old enough and with enough money to buy any set whenever I wanted was a defining moment of my adulthood. This BAM mess is the first time in 50 years I've questioned my hobby. F them all. Aw, Jason, that's okay. You're allowed to have a hobby. What they doing doesn't affect you, and what you're doing shouldn't affect them. Thank you for the $10. You keep building your sets. Thank you, Kel on Earth, for the $5 super chat. Pre-ordered your shirt. Hit the like button. Bam pow. Feeling more like acronyms than interjections these days. Bam pow. Yes, only use BAM approved vendor shotguns. Okay. That was crazy. I can't believe that. I mean, I guess I understand why they send in cease and desists. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. So what else? Okay, so there was something else I want to talk about too today. I think y'all saw probably the other day I was in here and there was a Justice for Tattle account in here. The Justice for Tattle account had posted on Reddit something about being bored and rewording my post. And there were a couple people that didn't like that, and they were like, Justice for Tattle is a good account and this, that, and the other. So just so y'all know, the update is I have unbanned Justice for Tattle from the chat. So they're unbanned. But I do want to just kind of clarify. I don't know any of these freaking people. Okay. I am over $1 million in legal bills accumulated at this point. And a lot of the things that those people tried to pull against me had to do with things people would say on my channels, had to do with things people would say on Reddit. And it was people I'd never spoken to, anonymous, some of them anonymous accounts. I didn't know who they were. Some of them lied about me. It was all a big op. It was all a big setup. And this sounds so schizophrenic unless it actually happens to you. So I have been pretty much blacklisted from Reddit for 6 years. This this Bricks and Minifigs story is the first time in all of my time as a YouTuber where it wasn't just all downvoted as soon as somebody mentions my name. And I actually think it has to do with the fact that the people that hate me that buy the Reddit bots just haven't gotten around to learning this new channel name. This channel only got started this spring in March. this BJC live show. I used to have other channel like name. I still do have that channel. But anyway, I'm very like sensitive, very sensitive about, you know, like bot behaviors and like accounts that are started for the purpose of like just following one story. Sometimes those can be AstroTurf accounts. And so when I see somebody what looks like to me talking shit, I'm blocking them. All right, I'm blocking them. And I wasn't going to say anything about that person, but then they were in my chat. And so I was like, go away. Like, you were talking shit about me on Reddit, go away. So on, you know, second thought, on further reflection, which I mean, obviously don't have time to read every Reddit post. So on further reflection, I have unhid that person or that account from my channel. But just so y'all are aware, like, I'm not anonymous. I am out here with my real full name. I've been doxxed. My address is like very obvious and easy to find. You know, I'm just trying to protect myself out here. I got involved in this type of work years ago because my whole purpose is advocacy for transparency and accountability, justice for people that are being wronged, justice for causes that are being wronged. I work by myself. Nobody's paying me to be here. I don't even really take sponsors. I got a chair. Somebody shipped me a chair. I got to put it together. I didn't know that I was going to freaking do construction work, but I really don't even take sponsors. So it's, you know, it's difficult to navigate out here, especially when there's all these anonymous accounts. You don't know who's who. You don't know who's who. You don't know what people's intentions are. And just to remind y'all, you know, like, I know that I'm very impressive and smart and all that, but I am just a person. You know, I'm just a human being. I have a whole entire life offline as well. I have stuff to do. And if I'm not getting a good vibe from somebody, I will delete them or call them out or whatever. So like I said, in the case of the Justice for Tattle account, they have been unbanned. They should be able to comment here now. I will, for now, just consider the whole board comment, I suppose, some type of, I don't know, misunderstanding, I guess, on my part. But, yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out. But, well, mainly because people were, like, emailing me like they thought it was out of line or something for me to do that. Like, y'all can do what y'all want on your channel. Once y'all have been attacked, targeted, defamed, slandered, and once y'all are out here with your real face and your real name and your address is public and then you can anything about your family can be looked up, then maybe, you know, you have some ground to stand on. I'm not going to be apologizing for handling things how I see fit. This is all coming from a place of self-preservation so I can live to make another video on another day. All right. That being said, I can't vouch for any. I don't know who any of these people are. You know, I really don't. Thank you, Bone Thrower, for the $1.99. You're naming your next child after me. Don't curse that child. Don't curse the child. Thank you for the $1.99. Thank you so much to, no, my name's fine. My name's fine. I'm just joking. Thanks so much to Kitty for the $5 super chat. Oh, girl, I've been in training all day, so I have to rewind the live. Yeah, it's been one in here. Hanging said, I don't even know who I am most days. Yeah, well, Anonymous Output Machine LLC. I don't know who any of these people are. Okay, hold on. I just need to check a text message and then want to go watch. Okay, so now I want to go look at this. Oh, Chris Gorman had said, shout out Chris Gorman, she had said, they had said, can 100% confirm a member of corporate saw the social media post. They told Chris explicitly to not mention consignment in her advertisements. Okay, so Chris Gorman earlier in the chat confirmed corporate saw the consignment post. corporate saw the consignment post. She said they said they confirm 100%. Okay, so now to give my voice a little bit of a break. I don't know all my cousins. Nobody knows all their cousins. Nobody knows. I was on EBN last night. They told her not to mention consignment. I did watch quite a bit of that video, but I did not watch all of it. I was kind of going back and forth between like Rabbit, David updates. Oop, hold on. I need a little bit of a break. We're going to watch a little video moment here. So, oh wait, I got to take the earrings off. I'll be getting sensory overload in 14 seconds. The video title in the first topic we talked about today was about getting cease and desists to take down reporting. Oh, girl, she almost lost the earring. Or else they're gonna sue. And like I told y'all, I've been traumatized. So I want to watch a little bit of this from 4 years ago. We're going to get into some lore here. Oh, I need to like the video. Oh no, I need to switch accounts because it's going to play an ad. It's going to aggravate me. Hold on. Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Thursday? This is echoing, girl. Hold on. We're not going to watch it all. To be honest, I've been better. As you can tell from the title of this video, and the various social media posts that I made advertising this video, Lima, who if you've... Girl, this is crazy. This was July 21st, 2022. Wow, like 4 years ago. Been on this channel before. You are intimately aware of who that is. Has threatened to sue me. So let's get into the circumstances first, and want to do a couple little disclaimers, this, that, the other, and then we'll get right into what the allegations are and all that. Okay. So first of all, what I will say is I got this packet of stuff on Saturday, this FedEx envelope. And in the FedEx envelope, there was a letter. I'm going to show y'all the letter. And there was attached to it a draft of a complaint. Now, I've read complaints to y'all before. It's basically the first filing in a lawsuit. So the letter, and I'll show it to y'all, basically says, if you don't retract your libelous or slander, defamation, whatever statements, then we are going to file this lawsuit. And then they attached the lawsuit. Well, over the past... Girl, I was not 20. I was like 32 days or whatever. I have had the opportunity to read the lawsuit, to read 31 relevant and applicable law. And I'm pretty confident that nothing in there is defamatory. But I do want to go claim by claim and address Lima's concerns. As y'all know, So basically, she sends me this cease and desist with a lawsuit already attached to it, right? Like it's like filed federal court, all this, but it hadn't been filed. This is a draft. And it was long. And it was like, if you don't issue an apology and a retraction and take down this and take down that, we're gonna file this lawsuit. So this is my retraction. Do stuff out of personal ego and personal spite. I do stuff as someone who is in search of the truth. So I just want to extend this message to Lima's lawyer. What's his name? Neville L. Johnson. I just want the truth. Neville L. Johnson ended up retiring from the case, withdrawing from the case. And he's like a celebrity defamation lawyer. He represented Richard Simmons in a defamation suit against The Sun and all this stuff. But then once they kept losing the case, he dropped off. And then he ended up suing Lima for legal fees. So you, Neville, are allowed and invited to come on this channel
and speak on behalf of your client and tell us, preferably with some evidence, why it is that Lima's statements cannot be reconciled with the official autopsy report. Alternatively, Lima is invited to come on this channel. She can come and say anything and everything that is her truth, and then I will let my subscribers and the members of the public decide whether or not they believe you. Okay?
She did not take me up on this offer. Nobody wanted to come on my channel and tell their truth. They just wanted to sue.
So final thing here, do not think that going to court is cute and fun. I know I say, facts ain't defamation, we'll sort it out in the depositions. I really mean that. But that is not an invitation to sue me for stuff that I didn't even do wrong.
Right.
I think it's much better just to let everybody know to stay out of court.
Her lawsuit was so stupid and weak, it didn't even make it to depositions. Womp womp.
Way to do things is to communicate with each other like civil human beings. Like I tried to do with Mark Leta twice. I've emailed him trying to get to the bottom of this. He has never responded. So I'm just in search of the truth personally. And if anything that I say is incorrect, instead of filing a frivolous, meritless, unsound lawsuit, you could just call me up. I mean, you have my number, you found my address. So I'm pretty sure we could probably sort this out outside of court. That being said, I am very confident that I would prevail in court. None of the things that I see in this complaint are actionable as defamation.
I was right. I was right. None of the claims prevailed in court.
And we're going to go through the complaint now. Now, I said that was the final thing, but this is actually the final thing. I don't want this video to be very long. What I am going to do is
1 hour, 17 minutes later.
going, like I say in the description box below, I'm going to share this lawsuit, this draft complaint with y'all. I will also share with you my response to Lima's attorney, which I will be sending by the close of business today. So I will be doing that. We'll be reading line by line, talking and doing all that. It'll be a real long live and all that. But this video is just going to be specifically.
Y'all, I am like a battle war. I'm traumatized from this lawsuit. F these monsters.
Addressing what her actual claims or the claims she tries to make in this draft complaint. And I want to clarify some of the things that I said because it seems like
she's stupid.
Maybe there's a little bit of a reading comprehension issue
there
on behalf of Lima and her attorney.
They can't read.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let's go.
My
all right.
PowerPoint presentation with the definition of the word lie.
So the first page of the complaint is this letter right here.
I am so funny for this too, girl. You're threatening me with federal litigation. Let me go live, so I can't edit anything. Let me go live with my retraction demand.
It's to me, Brittany Corville, BJ. BJ is for Brittany and Jareen.
That's me.
Enclosed, please find the complaint. We intend to file in the immediate future. Pursuant to New Jersey Revised Statutes, Section 2A43.2, this letter serves as a demand that you retract all libelous statements made as pleaded in the complaint with respect to Lima Yevremovich.
Girl, they gave me a homework assignment. They wanted me to read the whole 90-page complaint or however long it was. Maybe it wasn't that long. Maybe 25, 50 page. I don't remember. And then go through it and then find everything they said was libelous. Then I got to go remove it.
And Aura. By the close of business today. Such retraction must be made in as public a manner as that in which the libelous statements were made. So they're accusing me of making libelous statements.
Which I did not.
And then I'm like, well, I don't think I did that, but let's see what they have to say in the complaint.
Yeah.
So we'll wait. Okay. So I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to go in the order that's like easiest to explain.
Okay.
So there's two claims in this complaint. One of the claims is like a bunch of instances of allegedly defamation against Lima. And the second of the claims, is allegedly defamation that I did against Aura. Okay. We're going to start with the Aura claim first. So what they said, I said was the following. On April 27th, Corville, that's me, published to Instagram. So this is in reference to an Instagram post showing a digital message sent to me in which the message sender criticizes me for spreading falsehoods. So then it says an anonymous.
So the thing they were mad about here was I posted something on, look at this. This is so crazy. An anonymous commenter on my Instagram said, when has Lima Yevremovich ever upheld HIPAA? So that's me defaming her, according to like what she's trying to say in the law. And when I tell y'all, like, anybody can sue over anything. An anonymous commenter said, when has Lima ever upheld HIPAA? And I responded, never, not once. They tried to sue for defamation over this.
But it wasn't. It was Iron Shield Maiden who commented this. It was not anonymous. So I don't understand why they said anonymous. Somebody asked me, when has Lima... Oh, and this one said like all Lima's last names. I thought this was really funny, Neville, that you removed all of Lima's last names.
So one of the things about this shady, crazy psychopath is that she's like Medina Dore. She has all these names, but the names are unaccounted for and unexplained. It's like Lima Takali sometimes, Lima Takali Yevremovich sometimes, and Lima Yevremovich sometimes, which, okay, in and of itself, fine. Duh, people change their name when they get married. But then there was a whole nother third name that was never explained. Lima Mora. And her sisters also had the last name Takali, but then they would spell it all kind of different ways. And so this was one of the things that I was like, okay, who is this lady? Who is Bam Margera from Jackass's guardian? Why doesn't she have a medical degree? Why doesn't she have any mental health degree? Does she have a degree at all? She has these two sisters who basically were YouTubers, but then vanished off the face of YouTube. Nobody knows where they are. And then she pops up talking about these sisters, and they've been in 60 rehabs, and they got schizophrenia, and it's like some crazy shit going on. And then she becomes the guardian of another girl, Amanda Rabb, who's 25 years old. She died. So I'm like, who is this lady? Lima Yevrimovich, Lima Mora Takali, Mora Yevrimovich. I mean, it's spelled all kinds of different ways. And so it said, the actual comment said, when has Lima Yevrimovich, and it had all her last names, like Takali, Mora, da-da-da-da-da. And her lawyers did not write out the full comment. I guess they didn't want the federal judge to see that I had some type of valid question. Like, look at all these damn names.
I do have this one. Let me say what this actual post said, because this one was actually a little bit hilarious. Neville didn't want to actually put the full actual post. I posted.
Right.
Because I guess because it makes his client look bad.
Right.
But hold on, let me find it. So somebody said, Iron Shield Maiden said, when has Lima Yevrimovich Mora Takali ever upheld HIPAA? And then
When has Lima Yevrimovich Mora Takali ever upheld HIPAA? And Lima Yevrimovich Mora Takali's lawyer left out all those names. Look, they can't even quote the actual, thing that's so defamatory. They didn't even quote it.
some other stuff. And me, as a joke, as a reply to a comment on it,
I said never, not once. Okay, let's move forward to the
HIPAA and her whole.
So this is the complaint as it pertains to Aura, but the meat of the complaint, the bulk, the primary thing of the complaint was against her,
idea.
not Aura. So I'm moving forward.
Possible. They might have. But just to be clear, I do not sincerely believe that Lima violates HIPAA on every instance that she possibly can.
So
Can
stupid.
you imagine the level of incompetence she would have?
Right. It was so hyperbolic. When has she ever upheld HIPAA? Never. She never upheld HIPAA. Like, obviously that's sarcasm.
On, like, you would have to go out of your way. Like, that's just impossible. It's not even possible, right? So I thought it was pretty clear hyperbole, which is not defamation under the law. But just to be clear, I do not sincerely believe that Lima violates HIPAA.
Okay, so
Instagram
here's the
post
next thing.
Claim. This one is, in fact, I do not know if Lima has ever violated HIPAA. Okay, so that claim can go away. Bye. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, this is the next claim in the lawsuit.
This is another claim. This one is actually on claim 1, and this is the 5th incident. We're not going in order because there's like a cluster of them that we'll get to at the end. So this one also, they all reference Instagram posts. So this one also references.
So this one on April 23rd, 2022, published an image about Bam Margera's net worth. And I said, according to Distractify, Bam is worth $20 million. Now, who would have an incentive and want to control that money? Oh, that's defamation now, too. Oh, okay, got it. Falsely characterizes her as depleting Bam's money. Like, none of this is defamation. I published Instagram excerpt of a YouTube video where Lima and the dead lady's dad describe how they managed to transfer Amanda from jail into drug rehab through the use of court-ordered treatment under California law. Pausing and speaking over the video at the 1 minute 15-second timestamp. Okay, boomer. Corville states Amanda's public defender is not supposed to help you push your scam conservatorship through. Y'all, I cannot believe what these idiots have put me through. I really cannot believe it. Now, in California, they tried to sue as well, and she lost many times there as well. However, I got awarded some fees. Or my lawyers did, or whatever, like 97 something. I mean, maybe over 100 now, maybe about $100,000 in fees and costs and stuff from her got awarded to my lawyers. Do you think she's paid a single penny of it? No. And so, like, every single day I log into Pacer and I check the Bricks and Minifigs lawsuit, the Reckless Ben lawsuit, and right after I do that, I check my own lawsuit, because now this thing is in appeals court. It's gone to the appeals court. We've submitted some appellate briefs. And it was, now Lima, she wanted the whole thing to be argued. She wanted to have us go do oral arguments, which would have been tremendously expensive, astronomical even. And she wanted us to go to oral arguments, but the the appeals court said they don't want to hear oral arguments. They have enough information that they need from the papers. So I am very confident that I'm going to be winning the appeal as well. And I'm just ready for it to be over, and we're going to have a party when it happens. We're going to have a party when it happens. Sorry, I was just checking the pacer incidentally again. Let's see. The Millie Grace says there's so many good stories. She doesn't give any examples. She doesn't give any suggestions. Just there's so many good stories. Maybe move on from bricks and minifigs. Just a suggestion. Beating a dead horse. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like something Ammon McNeff would say. Truly. I mean, they got 1,000 people in here listening to me talk about it, so it must not be. It must not be that most people feel the same way like what you feel. Yeah, Lima and Mark trying to take my light. Well, they can't have it. They can't have it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I misspoke and said that Lima was Amanda's guardian. She was Bam Margera's guardian. She was the court-ordered treatment provider for Amanda. All right. So what else? What else do we have going on today? Let me see. I think I have some more links I want to get to before we get off of here today. I've been covering the David case. I'm not going to cover any of that today on this live. But if y'all are interested in the David case, I do have some coverage on that. I was on Down the Rabbit Hole News. I'm going to update the description box as well to the bammap.com in there. So if y'all want to go and check out the bammap.com, that'll be up and available. Sheldon Norcross is live right now. What's he doing? I don't want to watch an ad. Who? What? Legally mine. Which one? Wait, I missed it again. Sometimes when people think a joke is obviously a joke, it doesn't come across as obviously a joke. Okay, so I have y'all going over there to Sheldon. If y'all don't mind, go over there, tell him I sent you, subscribe to his channel. He's almost at 10,000. He's almost at 10,000 subscribers. So I have y'all going over there. I also have another video coming out soon, either today or tomorrow, on my documentary channel, BJ Investigates. And that's going to be about the girl band GRL that keeps having members die. They just keep inexplicably dying. There's a Jeffrey Epstein connection. It's the Pussycat Dolls 2.0. Then it turned into GRL, Robin Anton. It's going to be a good time. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.